On this episode of Task Force Geek, regular contributor Beth A. Freely becomes our guest to talk about her new science fiction book, Beyond the Steps of Stone. We'll also take a look at those juicy new Superbowl trailers for the upcoming DC Comics movies, The Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power, Moon Knight Season 1, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where we'll talk about if we just saw the beginning of the X-Men in the MCU, and we will also talk about edibles, and that's all coming up now. We are not talking about edibles tonight. Welcome to Task Force Geek. My name is Dirk Hooper, and today I am joined by Walt.
How you doing, everyone?
We're also joined by our buddy Mike. How you doing, Mike? You have been kind of the world traveler. I'm going to get an update on that also.
Okay.
We're looking forward to that.
Yeah. We're hiding in my office at work right now. So
really?
Yes. Yeah. Good Wi-Fi signal, better than where I'm at night.
That's probably a good selection. Yeah, we want to catch up with you and see kind of what you've been doing, because I know you've had a lot on your plate. And
it's almost all done.
This is just really like a personal thing. It's like I wanted to catch up with Mike, so hey, have him on the show.
Yay!
It's the best way to catch up.
Yeah,
it is. It's true. You got me cornered.
And that's right. and I can see your face. And Beth, who is our regular contributor tonight, is our guest.
Hey.
So there she is. There's our crew. That's what we're doing. We already have a comment. Let's get to it. Ashell says, hello, everyone. Hello, Ashell. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello.
You got right on that. You're first. You win. You win tonight. Congratulations. Once again, before we get started, I want to say, if you are interested in seeing episodes of Task Force Geek, then help us get guests. If we have guests, we have episodes. That's it. So what I'm going to be doing, starting, well, probably not tonight, but let's say tomorrow, I'm going to post a sheet or make an announcement on the Task Force Geek group and also on my page and anywhere else I can think about it. And hopefully you guys will share it, where I just say, look, if you're interested in being on the show, here are the dates that we have open, and it's going to be first come, first serve, and share that sheet out to everyone, and we will start filling that in one person after another. People will see that we need X amount of guests, and they can pick their spot, and we'll go from there. Hopefully that will get us a bunch of guests lined up. So anyway, look for that tomorrow on the Task Force Geek Facebook group.
Yay.
All right. We're going to go to our first thing, and here it is. Here gets to Beth. Maybe you've heard of her. She is.
No, tell us all about her.
I didn't even get the bio together. This is how behind I am on everything.
Good job, man. Good job. Do you need a minute? Do you need a minute to get the bio?
I just want to start the whole show over again.
And we'll just get back into
Beth is an author of multiple books, including Beyond the Steps of Stone, which is what we're going to talk about today. We did a full interview with Beth on the first episode that she tuned in. Mm-hmm. And I did not have that episode. I'm not prepared on that either. So suck it.
You got to do the,
Suck it.
Suck it.
Wow. I see how I rate with you, dude.
But I will find out what that is and refer back to that, because that was a pretty in-depth interview where we talked about all the stuff that came before. But I don't think that there's really necessarily any reason to go over that. Although, before we get kind of started into Beyond the Steps of Stone, Beth, tell everyone who's watching the other books that you have done prior to this.
So there's Beyond the Steps of Stone, which is my most recent one, sci-fi romance. The one that came out before it was The Lock, which is about a photographer who takes a 6-month vacation in Scotland and falls in love. Just, nice little fluffy contemporary romance. And then we had The Legend of Captain St. Pierre, which is my pirate action adventure romance novel that is co-authored with my best friend Miriam. And the very first book I ever wrote, Behind the Eyes of Dorian Gray, obviously is a sequel to Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray, and that is
Pretty
the
cool.
novel that was narrated by actor Max Brown from The Tudors and The Royals.
Yeah.
Also a brief appearance in Captain Carter.
Right.
Or Agent Carter, excuse me. Agent Carter.
He played Carter's brother on the show.
Max Brown is a super cool guy. Did you say that he has a new show that he's going to be on?
Yeah, it's called Sister Boniface Mysteries. It is currently on BritBox, which you can get through Amazon Prime. I watched the first episode. It's adorable. It's a spin-off of the Father Brown Mysteries. If you're into British television.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
I've watched that before.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I like British television.
Yeah.
It's a period piece. It's a period piece. I would say like turn of the century, early to mid 1900s. Maybe
Marcus,
right before the World War II.
Marcus, our guest last week, who's from the UK, said that he watched Reacher and he really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
I just finished that last night.
I recommend Reacher.
I've got 2 more episodes to go. Yeah.
Reacher is super awesome.
For anybody who's interested, the full
Hey, Casey Jane.
episode 44.
Hey, Casey Jane is in the house. You know what? I almost invited you on this episode, but I thought that it would be too late because I didn't put this together till the last minute. We're going to be talking a little bit about the new Batman movie once we get into our news portion. And when I started taking notes about that, I thought immediately about you. She's kind of a fan of the Batman.
Yeah.
The guy who's playing the Batman. We miss you too. We'll have you on here soon. Real soon. Like maybe the next time we do this, if we can.
Like next week, you can have her on because I won't be available.
We got to have a guest. Help me find a guest. Thanks, Casey Jane. We miss you too.
Even if we all can't go to the big WrestleMania this year, we should all at least do a show from down here during WrestleMania weekend.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah.
Are you available right now, Casey Jane?
She'll
Someone send her the
That-
link. She can come on.
Yeah, there's that hush of silence all of a sudden.
Episode 44, Dirk.
Episode 4. Oh, how did that happen?
What do you mean? How did that happen?
Did you look it up?
I have it on my website. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Casey Jane, are we
Episode
friends
44.
on Facebook?
Episode 44.
This is 78, so it was quite some time ago.
It was quite some time ago.
Yeah. Someone send her a link to the deal. She wants to pop on for a minute, or okay, she won't be.
Nah,
on.
she's not home yet.
All right. Well, that's okay. Always welcome on. Always welcome on. Okay, so, WrestleMania. Wait a minute. We might as well cover this because I know that she's. When is WrestleMania? That's May
It's always the first weekend of April.
of April. That's very quick. So,
Yeah.
look, she's going to be in the same town
As me and Beth.
as Beth
and
me.
and Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike's down here now.
Now
we just got to get you down here.
you're in like North Dallas, right?
I am in Carrollton, Farmers Branch, and
Okay.
Irving in that little cluster.
Okay.
The Twilight
driven
Zone.
past there many times.
Some days, today was that day.
Yeah. If you blink, you don't know what town you're in.
Mm-hmm.
She
April
says
1st.
WrestleMania is April 1st. Well, look, if there's some way we can coordinate something or whatever, that would be super cool.
Because I will not be able to go to WrestleMania proper, but I definitely am going to get tickets to Access and WrestleCon. So
Yeah.
those things are if anything, if you can't make actual WrestleMania,
She's doing the whole thing
Yeah, she's
Thursday
doing
to
the whole-
Monday.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to cover some stuff live and do some drop-ins and stuff, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Take some video.
do some video, either, like I said, either live or just take the video and then get it to us. Either one is cool.
We can do that.
Yeah, either way, that's good stuff. All right, so Beth, you have written a book called Beyond the Steps of Stone. What is the origin story? How did that book come about?
So the origin story around Beyond the Steps of Stone came from a comment that a friend of mine at the time, who was writing Farscape fan fiction with me, made. And she was like, "Can you imagine writing a sci-fi novel? You know, let's. I think you should do it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah. Sci-fi usually, you know, I write a lot of sci-fi fan fiction." And she's like, "No. I think you need to write a sci-fi romance." And she starts throwing ideas at me and just, you know, really odd things. But that night I went home and I had the name of the hero, which is Jericho. I had the name of the heroine, which at the time was Brecca. And I'm going, who are you guys? And pulled out a notebook and I just started jotting down notes. And the next thing I know, it's like 2 a.m. I have the first chapter, the prologue and the first chapter of the book already written. And I type it up and I send it to her the next day. And she's like, holy cow. She was like, I didn't expect you to do this so fast. And I said, the idea popped in my head. I said, Here we go. And the interesting thing about it was I started the process with this book in 2003. Actually, I think it might have been it was maybe 2002, 2001. I remember Kate was little. She was still in a playpen when I was sitting there writing the initial draft of the book. The original catalyst of the story was the bombing of the World Trade Towers and everything that happened on 9/11. So this book has been long in the making. Very long in the making.
Yeah, when you said Kate was little, and the pen was like, has it really been that long?
Yeah, how long? How long was that, Beth?
Well, like I said, 2003. So
wow,
Kate was yeah.
So you've had this sitting on the back burner since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. What made you decide to pick it back up again and bring it home?
I always wanted to revamp the book, make it darker, make it a little more mature. I was not as mature in my writing back then as I am now.
Okay.
You know, and it's a process, and you know, we're always, as a writer, you're always learning, you're always, you know, honing your skills, which is why, you know, I still occasionally write fan fiction because it helps me hone, you know, my skills and stuff like that. And in 2005, a friend of mine sent me a link to a contest, which is how I won my original publishing contest with contract with Dorian. And I had set Beyond the Steps of Stone aside, and I worked on Dorian. And I got that done, won the publishing contract and everything. But Beyond the Steps of Stone was that book that my dad fell in love with the first time he read it. The initial original draft. Absolutely fell in love with it. Sat with me one night at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Everybody else was in bed. Dad had just finished it. And he said, go get me a piece of graph paper outside, you know, from the garage. And I said, okay. And I bring it back to him, and he actually maps out Jericho's tattoo. And I'm not telling you what the tattoo is. Y'all need to read the book. But that map that he made me is very crucial to the second and third book of the trilogy. And my dad passed away in 2006 before he could read Dorian. He knew I won my publishing contract. He knew I was on my way to being an author, you know, a legit author with more than one book under my belt. And I, you know, for Dad, I wanted to get this book out. And I've worked on it here and there since 2006, and it's just never been the right time. I was never able to get back into the story the way, you know, I was when I first wrote it. I lost touch with the characters. I didn't lose touch with Jericho's character. I didn't lose touch with the character called Averton, but I lost touch with Brecca. That character completely changed into something different. One of the characters changed from a female to a male when I finally went through this final process. I used the book when I was going for my master's degree. I used it for my editing class. And that kind of got the ball rolling, and that was 2018. But I was sitting one night finishing up the lock, and I realized 2021 was 15th anniversary of my dad's passing. And I was like, now is the time to do this book.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out, and I made some major changes to it. I actually pulled a character from my Farscape fan fiction. Yeah.
I hope Steve is watching.
Right, I know, right? My character, Morgan Langtree, is a character that I love dearly. And I was like, you know what? Morgan fits in this book. Morgan is a better heroine for this book. Just her entire personality and everything. And once I made some of those minor changes, and once I found my Jericho again, because in my head, Jericho's face has changed like 5 or 6 different times. Once I found the right Jericho, I was gone. I was done. I was rolling with it. Everything started flowing again. And it was the right time to get the book out.
Beth, how significant? I mean, was your dad into science fiction, or did he just enjoy your book?
Dad read everything. He was very big into reading nonfiction. He loved books on history, all sorts of history.
My dad too.
Yeah,
big on true stuff. He liked true stuff in history.
Yeah. But my father has always, he was always very supportive of my writing. He didn't think that it was, to be poo-pooed. He knew that's where my talent was.
Right.
And there was something about this book that just really resonated with him. I don't know if it was the alien factor or the sci-fi factor. Dad loved Star Trek. He loved Star Wars, so maybe there was that sci-fi factor there.
Yeah.
But he was always supportive of my writing, and I really think that more than anything is what kept it rolling.
This book in particular, though, is significant because your dad enjoyed it, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It is. This is the very first manuscript I ever finished from start, from start to finish, with a product. I mean, I pitched it out to agents and publishers back in 2003, 2004. Didn't get any bites. Had a couple people say it needs polishing, and on retrospected it. And the story that I have now is 100% better than what I started with. And I'm actually super proud of this book right now with the way that I rewrote it and did it.
They say that you should do anything for 10,000 hours before you before you're whatever, an expert at it or good at it or whatever the case is.
They also say you should write for yourself. As much as you are writing for your audience, you have to be happy with it before your audience will enjoy it.
Definitely.
And at this point with this book, this version of the book I'm happy with. I had laid out the 3 books that I wanted to work on for 2022. And I have a sneaky suspicion I got a couple of characters in my head that aren't going to let me work on it. They want me to start working on them too.
I hear you.
Yeah. And I'm actually okay with that.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to go where the inspiration is.
Yeah.
Particularly with writing. Writing is a long process. It's not a quick gig. So, if you got the fire, you got to kind of, work that.
Yeah.
Tell us about the characters and the plot.
Well, before I do that, how about I have a book trailer that I would like to share with everybody. So that will give you the basic plot of the book.
Perfect.
All right, here we go.
We're not going to get copyright struck for this, are we?
No, because I've got it, darn.
Hey, that's a really cool trailer.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
I say good job because I know you made it.
Yep, I did. As a matter of fact, because of that trailer, I wound up getting a 3-trailer gig from another author friend of mine.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
that's the biggest kudos that you can get is that someone goes,
definitely.
"Hey, please make that for me, and I'll pay you."
Right.
That's awesome. But yeah, that's really cool, Beth. Unlike comics or movies, books, lack that visual element. You really got to figure out kind of how to, get that excitement going. And I think you did it with that trailer. So
I had a lot of
good
fun
job.
making that trailer. Because I pulled the elements of the basic story out and was able to capture them in the trailer the way I wanted to, so that people who are very visual,
You're competing against a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
You're competing against the metaverse.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
I mean, plus everything else: video games, movies, television, books,
All my
comics.
nerds. Yeah.
And like work and everything else that people do. Ashell asks, she's got a question. Let's get to this. I can't tell by the cover if this is a movie. Would it be PG, R, or something else?
It would be R, Shell. It would be R.
Hard R?
Yeah, hard R.
Or someone
Maybe
says
not-
the F
maybe
word
not as
somewhere in there.
Maybe not as hard as some things, but it could, but because of the love scene alone, it could border on NC-17.
Oh.
It's a romance novel, guys. Okay, there's
Yeah, it's a romance novel.
You know what? I always, how do you, is it just that it comes down to, you said write the thing for yourself first and foremost. Does it just come down to that? Or, I mean, it's a romance novel, so, there's a requirement of a sex scene, or what's your algorithm on that? Because I was just thinking about that the other day about a story that I was working on, and it's like, do I want? I mean, I've written erotica before. Do I want to insert that into, because it's going to turn some people off.
So for me, I put, romance writer, I put love scenes in my books, whether people like that or not, whatever.
I mean,
That's up to them. If I make sure that there is enough meat to the story, where if they skip the love scene, they're not missing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got family members that tend to skip the love scenes, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Ashell says that sounds fun.
Yeah, it is fun, girl. Especially with who I have pictured in my head to play these characters. I want that turned into a movie, okay?
But you think that if people are offended by it, they can just skip past it, and
Yeah.
the people who I remember reading when I was young. I remember reading a Stephen King novel, and I don't remember what it was, but the main character was in a bathtub and pleasuring herself, and I thought, wow, I didn't expect this,
Yeah.
in this deal, and I know that he he does that quite a bit. He slips that sort of stuff in there, and I mean, he's doing okay. He's doing all right.
Depending on the book, depending on the story, will depend on how many love scenes I wind up putting in there. This book in particular, I focused more on the sci-fi and the romance aspect than the sex scene aspect of it. Legend of Captain St. Pierre, Miriam and I had 3 sex scenes in it. One was a duel to the bed. One was a love scene in the crow's nest during a violent storm at sea. And then one was just a little fluffy, love scene in front of a fire. So there was 3 in St. Pierre. There's 2 in The Lock. There's 1 in Dorian. It all depends on the book I'm writing and where I feel the love scenes fit, if there's more than one, if there's not. I also, after doing the Dirty in Dallas author event, I also kind of discovered, after reading some of my some of my fellow authors' books, my love scenes are kind of tame. A lot of my fellow authors are writing what is referred to as erotic romance, which borders on erotica, but whereas erotica, the entire book is based around the sex, erotic romance, the book is based around the story and the sex, forwards the story. It's not just all about the sex.
Right.
But the verbiage between just a good old-fashioned romance novel with a love scene and erotic romance is different. And
you did a video kind of on this subject.
I did.
Where you broke down these different genres, and it's there's a lot of different you can go everything from like the Harlequin,
right,
or the Hallmark movies where like I make fun that you get one kiss at the end.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been mentoring a young author by the name of Taya, 18-year-old who has a very, very strong grasp of Regency romance novels and the English language. And her first book, when I did the editing for her, I turned around and I said to her, Taya, it's a romance novel. I said, doesn't matter if you're gearing this for young adults or adults. I said, you are missing one thing in this book. And she's like, what's that? I said, the single chase kiss at the end. Regency romances typically don't have love scenes in them. It's about the build up, them admitting that they're in love, the whole 9 yards. And I told her, I said, there has to be that satisfaction at the end. I said, your readers will walk away feeling bereft of that if you don't put it in the book. And bless her heart, she admitted to me that she turned around, she looked at her mother, and she said, Mom, she goes, I don't know how to write this. She said, I've never been kissed by a boy. But the way she wrote it, single chaste kiss at the end of the book, was the cherry on top. And I was very proud of her. It made the story what it needed to be.
Yeah. I got a comment from Brian James. He says, Mr. Hooper, give Walt a raise. He's doing a wonderful job. Well, a raise from nothing is still nothing.
Right.
But he certainly deserves that. He deserves much more.
Second person talking about bonuses today.
Hopefully the other was like a supervisor that you work with.
No, it wasn't a supervisor. Co-worker, but not a supervisor. When we were talking about bonuses, it's like I'd rather have a bonus that filled my wallet than a bonus stack of papers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. Stack of bills versus
thank you, Mr. James.
Back.
Yeah.
Beth, you want to talk a little bit about the plot of the book and kind of what's going on with it?
Sure can. So, as you saw by the trailer, we have a group of people who have been in cryogenic stasis for 1,500 years. Basically, what chased them into cryogenic stasis is Mother Earth is basically tearing herself apart. She's having a temper tantrum. And this temper tantrum causes a lot of problems. Well, they get put into cryogenic stasis, only supposed to be only for 500 years, and they wake up 1,500 years later, not understanding they've been asleep 2,000 years, not understanding what has happened. Has the computers glitched? What is going on? The book starts out in Area 51. And anybody who knows me knows I love aliens and Roswell and Area 51. And I was, people were like, Area 51, so overdone. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'm putting my book in there. Y'all can go. It's Area 51. So they come out of stasis, and as they're acclimating to what has happened around them, and as they're looking through Area 51, because now nobody's going to stop them from going into places they're not able, they weren't allowed to go before. They find 10 alien spacecraft. Not just one, not just two, 10 alien spacecraft in a hangar, which starts the questions rolling. Where are these spacecraft from? Why do some of them look newer? With no answers forthcoming, Colonel Morgan Langtry, the leader and our heroine, takes her team to the Billis Valley area. This was planned out prior to them being put in stasis. And when they get there, they find in the temple a map of what happened to Earth while they were asleep. And on the way there, they discover the moon has been fractured. The world that they knew, Nevada, is now a lush green, a beautiful lush green Garden of Eden, basically. And they find the descendants of the people who managed to make it in Belize still there in a thriving society. And so as they're trying to figure out what is going on, they go to bed one night. Next morning they wake up, and sitting on the plateau across from the temple that you saw in the video is a city-sized spaceship and aliens that looked just like us. Enter Lord Jericho Dariath, our alien leader, and his entourage, and come to find out that they have been here before. They have helped seed Earth, so to speak, and that they are on the run from their enemies. And so now Morgan and Jericho have to figure out a way to work together to keep Earth from, experiencing the same fate that Alorphia did. And there's some bad guys in it. Kind of sneaky bad guys. It was very satisfying to kill said sneaky bad guy. Which in the original version of the book I did not do, and as I was editing it and everything, and I'm going, nope, you're dying. Sorry, go. It goes out.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye, Felicia. But do they manage to come together? You got to read the book and find out. Yeah, because I'm not going to tell you.
She's just going to tease us now.
Yes,
Right?
I am. You are darn right about that.
What has the reception for the book been like?
The reception for the book already has been really good. First person to read it was my brother, which I had no idea that my brother was chomping at the bit for me to come out with this book until last year. And he was like, when are you putting the book out? When are you putting this out? I'm like, why? He's like, because I want to read it. Oh, okay. He was the first person to buy it, first person to read it all the way through, first person to put a review on Amazon. My sister bought it. I've had 3 coworkers buy it, and my one coworker, Giselle, she's like, I cannot put this book down. My sister binge read 250 pages last night.
That's great.
I was like, oh my God.
That's very
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But I'm part of this. I pay for a service called Voracious Readers Only. And it's a mailing list of people who are interested in reading books and leaving reviews. And basically I get their email address and get to send them, all my spammy crap. And they leave a review for my book. They get the book for free. And I got a 5-star review from someone called Quilt Girl on January 31st. The book had been out a month. And she wrote, I received a copy of this book by voracious readers and absolutely loved it. It was an absolute page turner for me and spent more free time reading the book than doing anything else. Just couldn't put it down. The content of the book as described by the author was spot on. The characters were very well defined. The story captivated me from the very first page. I admit seeing that it was 500 pages got me a bit worried, but I just can't put it away. Looking forward to the next one.
That's cool.
Yeah. The reviews on
Read Clive
Goodreads-
Barker.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Mhm.
No kidding.
Yeah. Right.
Stephen King's original version of The Stand at over 1,000 pages.
Exactly.
The reviews on Goodreads have been the same.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
How does that make you feel?
Good. It makes me feel good. I know my dad would have been super proud of this. I think he would have loved the changes. My brother and sister both read it back in 2003 when I first wrote it. And even they have said the changes I made to it just really tightened up the whole story and everything. And this was coming from people who told me I had a tight story to begin with. So it knowing that the changes that I made to the story had an impact, is good to know. It's good to know. Now, my niece Kat also did a beta read on the changes that I made as well. She was probably, other than my brother and sister, the only other person that really had a lot of familiarity with the book. She was really, thrilled with the changes that I made and agreed that I had pulled it together really well. So, that the reception of the book right now is really, really making me happy, especially knowing how long this book has been sitting in the wings. This one needed to come out.
It's been gestating for a while, for sure.
Yeah. We'll see how Saturday goes in San Diego, because this is the first time that the book will be out, at one of the author events for people to buy.
Well, I mean, since you mentioned it, tell us a little bit about where you're going and what you're doing.
So I mentioned Delightfully Dirty in Dallas. That was an author event I did in August, and I met some great people while I was there, and they were the ones that
Delightfully Dirty.
Okay, let me tell you something. A room full of romance authors. Okay, we are a bunch of dirty people. I'm not. We are
Surprise.
naughty.
It's not a surprise.
Naughty.
No.
No, I mean, I was like, whoa, we are naughty.
There's no way. No.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that one of the
Snoop Dogg doesn't smoke weed.
right. And the funny thing is that one of the authors that was there is a guy, which you don't see very often in the romance world. But I've read some of his stuff, and he knows what he's writing. So, a couple of the authors there secured me the invitation to the Love and Devotion author event in San Diego. It is by invitation only.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I got the invitation, and I looked at my husband. I said, "I'm going."
There's Steve.
I know. There he is. Finally.
We've already been talking about fan fiction without you.
Yeah. It's too late. I have to go back and rewind.
Sorry,
Yeah,
buddy.
rewind. Sorry,
buddy.
So I told my husband, I said, I'm going to this thing. And he's like, okay. He's like, you sure you want to go to San Diego by yourself? And I'm like, no, but, I'll figure it out.
Oh, you'll have a great time.
Hey, Maxine.
Maxine.
I called my best friend Miriam. I said, hey, what are you doing in February? She said, nothing. Why? I said, do you want to go on a road trip? She's like, where are we going? I said, San Diego. And she was like, I'm in. And so we are going
You
to
got to talk about some fan fiction for Steve, because
Steve, I'll get you. So we're going to the Love and Devotion author event in San Diego, which is next Saturday, the 19th. Miriam is going as my PA, but anybody who buys St. Pierre will get one of those extremely rare copies of the book signed by both of us, which will be nice.
Yeah.
There's over 50 romance authors that are going to be there, as well as cover models. Yeah.
I guess if you put those rowdy romance writers with the cover models.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Watch out.
Cover models. You have to have the cover models. So, it's already looking to be a blast. All of the VIP tickets have been sold already. And I think most of the free tickets that we had have already been claimed.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
it should be a we're gonna have a blast. I know that already. I know that.
What are you going to have there? You're going to have a table, and
I have
you're
a
going to have
full-size-
copies of your books, and
I have a full-size 6-foot table. I have all 4 books with me. I'm actually only taking 3 with me from here. I'm taking Beyond the Steps of Stone, The Lock, and the and Behind the Asadorian Grey with me. Miriam still has a box of first edition St. Pierre at her house.
okay,
So I'm like, all right, we're just going to take those.
perfect.
So I'm taking 10 copies of each. But I will also have my tablet set up so that if I do run out of copies, people can order them from me and I can ship them when I get home.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
So I have it all set up on my website already
cool.
and
That's
everything.
very
I
cool.
will have swag. I got new swag for it. I made,
What you got?
hold on for a minute.
You got stickers?
Uh-oh. Scott.
Steve says San Diego is brilliant. Have so much fun and good luck.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. So I ordered these. Not
San
really-
Diego is an awesome town. Before you
It
ever
is.
do anything, great
Well-
place to eat. Don't eat at McDonald's, okay?
Oh, no. We've already gotten recommendations of places to eat.
Yeah.
Good.
and everything.
Go down
Great
to
place to
Fisherman's
eat.
Wharf.
Go
Yeah.
go grab
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
You always go down to the wharf. You always
go
go
grab
down
some
to the
coffee
Yeah.
late at night and sit out and enjoy the evening.
And we're the hotel we're at is right on the beach, and we're not far from
Oh,
the
excellent.
wharf. So so it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and you're not far from the Gaslamp District, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Go to definitely
Great
go there.
restaurants, everything.
Definitely eat there.
We're gonna-
Definitely.
We're driving out from Phoenix on Friday, so we'll have Friday night and Saturday night to do some stuff, and then Sunday, because it's only a one-day event. Sunday we're going up an hour and a half up the coast to Disneyland for 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Anaheim, yay!
Yeah.
That's cool too.
But
It's a beautiful drive too. So
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. What is the Top Gun, Steve?
Going up the coast, I guess.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm assuming.
But some of the swag that I got,
barbecue.
Oh.
I have
Oh,
most.
pardon me.
Okay,
Mhm.
Cool barbecue joint.
His
Nice.
barbecue joint.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
Some of the swag I have, and most of it I already have packed. These I had out. I have
I like the
bookmarks.
barbecue.
I have keychains. Beyond the Steps of Stone, because Morgan is an Army colonel. I had keychains made with the book cover, but they look like dog tags.
Oh,
that's
good.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Steve's
I
gonna
like
want. Steve's gonna want one of those.
Oh no, Steve's gonna want one. Look, if Steve buys here's the deal: if y'all buy a copy of my book and you tell me you bought it and everything, if you're local, I will sign it. But if you tell me you bought it and you send me your address, I will send you swag for the book. That's the deal. You have to show me that you bought a copy of the book. And I will send you the
So
swag.
what I'll do is, since my mom is the book reader, I'll buy one for my mom, and you can send me the swag.
There you go.
Okay, there you
There
go.
you
But,
I bought the ebook. You can't sign that.
This is some of the swag that I had made. I didn't realize these were this tiny when I had them made, but they're little bookmarks. So this one is Beyond the Steps of Stone.
That's cool.
This one is St. Pierre.
Yeah, they don't need to be huge.
It looks like a nice print
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, and it's got the tag, the taglines on the back. So
That's
Those
cool.
are just as
Apple.
useful.
Yeah.
yeah, Zazzle.
Cool.
So
Yeah, good
but,
deal.
I've got my table. I've got my table banner and everything. I have everything for the author event in my carry-on stuff. So I'm sure TSA is going to love me tomorrow. 30 books on the roll-on, okay? And
Yeah.
and Beyond the Steps of Stone is not a thin book. That's gonna look like a brick of nothing when it goes through. So I'm prepared for them to open the rolling carry-on. All my swag packed in a Guardians of the Galaxy lunchbox in my backpack.
Nice.
Yay.
So
Beth, what book sells the best?
right now, Dorian. I cannot keep up with the amount of copies of Dorian that I have either given away through Voracious Readers or that are being purchased. It is still my top-selling audiobook. Wonder why. But yeah, Dorian, hands down, Dorian. I really would love to see Beyond the Steps of Stone actually surpass Dorian. Wouldn't bother me if it did. But yeah, so far that's definitely the bestseller.
You have to, since it's your own, no one knows anything about this. That's going to fall on you to explain to people what's going on there. But I think it definitely has the potential to take off. I mean, it's I was going to ask if you said it was partially inspired by Farscape. You kind of name dropped that. Is there anything else that you would say, like if someone likes this thing, they might like this thing?
If you're a sci-fi fan, or if you like speculative fiction or post-apocalyptic world fiction, you will like this book, because this really is post-apocalyptic. The characters, there's 500 people that go into cryogenic stasis in this one pod at Area 51. They have yet to discover whether or not there were other pods around the Earth.
Okay.
So, they come out of stasis, not everybody makes it. So, the characters are left wondering, are we the only ones that are left? They get to Lamini, and they find, they find a culture that's, thrown back almost to the time of the Mayans and the Inca. They've gone back to the old ways. There's no technology. What little bit of technology that Morgan and the crew have, is stuff that they prepared for. They don't have cell phones anymore. They don't have satellite phones. They have MiG jets and F-18s. They can't fly them because half of the people that could fly them are gone. So yeah, if you like that kind of post-apocalyptic, how are we going to survive?
Survival.
Anybody else survive?
Yep.
Story,
Yep. Aliens.
Aliens. Yep.
Yeah.
Set in the future. I don't know what I want to go to first here. Steve says Kansas City Barbecue in San Diego, where they filmed the Great Balls of Fire scene from Top Gun, is what he was trying to type.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Cool.
There you go.
Yeah. We'll have to
to complete that. Can we talk a little bit about your process and how you go about creating a book? Like, how do you start writing? And are you a pantser or a plotter?
I am a pantser all the way. A little bit of plotter. Man, the process for me, I get an idea. It smacks me upside the head like a hammer. Walt has actually seen this happen. I don't know how many times you've caught me in the break room just furiously scrolling. The idea just slams into my brain, and I just start working it and see where it goes. Usually it's the characters that hit me first. And it could be inspired from a song, a conversation, a walk outside, a movie. And I just roll with it. Usually I do very, very light plotting. I come out, base just a 1 or 2 sentence outline for each chapter, just so I haven't, that's more to organize the thoughts than anything else. And I'll start writing, and I'll do the research that I might need as I'm writing. And usually I get the base story down first. I am one of those people. I truly believe that get the idea out.
So you don't edit it along the way. You just put it out.
I put it out.
You
I put it down on
regurgitate
paper. I just vomit the whole thing and get it out. And then I'll go back and completely re-edit the whole thing. If I get to a point where I get stuck, I skip it. I'll make a little note. Yeah.
You just
I'll make
keep
a
going.
little note, something goes here.
I've heard people do that.
I'll skip it and just keep on going.
Yep.
And then I'll come back to that later.
Okay. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What do you use to physically write it?
Depends on my mood. Most of the time, I'm doing it on the computer or on my phone because story ideas hit me at the weirdest places. I mean, half of the lock was written while I was waiting my turn at the pool table when I was shooting pool leagues.
So you say you write on your phone. What app do you use?
Google Docs.
Really?
Good old-fashioned Google Docs, yep.
And you're just swipe texting it?
Yep. And people who watch me, they're like,
cool.
"How do you do that so fast?" I'm like, "What?" You know, and I've gotten used to swipe texting, and you know, I can move with it pretty fast.
There's a lot of people that I know that use Google Docs.
Yeah.
For everything.
Well, it works across all platforms, which is one of the wonderful things about
Yeah.
Google Docs, and it's nearly as functional as Word, and it's for free.
And
Probably better than Word.
What I'll do is, and there's some shortcomings with Google Docs.
Okay.
As a writer, when you get to that point where you
Particularly
need
when
to
you're
start
formatting, yep.
that's where Google Docs falls flat.
Yeah.
But when I'm writing, if you know, I'll open it up in Google Docs and I'll dump it down into Word, and I'll sit here. You know, if I'm at home, I'll sit with the headphones on, you know, and just work through it. And then I always re-upload it to Google Docs just so that I have the most current copy with me at all times. Because I never know. I just got done. I got a brand new Amazon Fire tablet to take with me to San Diego, and I just dumped everything that I would need for this trip onto OneDrive because that one works with OneDrive. So that kind of makes it easy because that's a Word document right there.
Yeah.
You know, and
True.
I'm able just to roll with it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Awesome.
And a lot of times with the process as well is as I start fleshing out my characters, from years and years of writing fan fiction and writing on storyboards, and you know, you always have to have your played by character. You know, I've always gotten to the point where now I have to put a face to my characters. And when I first started writing Beyond the Steps of Stone, Jericho was Viggo Mortensen a la Aragorn. That was the look.
Yeah.
He's gone through like 4 different face changes until finally I was watching something with Michael Fassbender. And it wasn't an X-Men movie. It was one of his other movies, and it was just his presence in the movie, and his character was you know, soft-spoken but firm, you know, that leader type, and I was like, holy crap, that's Jericho. You know, in that character, and so suddenly Michael Fassbender became my Jericho. And that's why I said earlier, when I found my Jericho, things just took off. And you know, it made it really easy for me to write. In my head, I see Morgan as Karen Gillian.
Hear that, Steve?
Do you grab a picture of them and put it in like a notebook, and then write out character
I do this.
notes?
I'll show you this. I do what they call mood boards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's the one I did for Morgan and Jericho.
There you go.
Okay.
That's the background on my on my computer right now.
Yeah.
I'll do mood boards like that just to, you know, just so the visualization there is. I'll scroll through I don't know how many photos until I find the ones where I can see
They fit.
you know, that they fit. When Karen Gillian was in the Jumanji movie, that's when I realized, oh, yeah, that's my heroine. That's Morgan right there. You know, because she had the right look. I've seen her in other things where she has played like the military person. As a matter of fact, Dan watched a movie with her the other day. I don't remember what it was, but she's playing a military character, and I was like, yeah, that's it right there. You know, so it fits. The original actress I had for Morgan, she's kind of too soft now for what the character morphed into.
Let me get a few let me get a few questions and stuff out here. Beth, and I want to encourage anyone who has any questions for Beth, including Walt and Mike, if you have any, and anyone who's watching, just put in your questions now. Now's the time. Steve says, all writers inevitably have bouts with writer's block. If when you've hit it in the past, has it ever just completely derailed your direction?
Oh, yes. Yes. The writer's block that I have had with a novel called Gisborne that I'm hoping to come, to get out this year, has derailed me for about 5 years. I was doing really well writing it, and it was flowing and everything, was going right. And then it was like, I started doing research on Richard the Lionheart and everything. And the direction that I wanted to take the story in got completely derailed because of history. And just how bad the Robin Hood stories have screwed it up. That I've hit a serious writer's block with it. I actually did a podcast with another author about the writer's block on Gisborne, and everything. So yeah, it has completely derailed my direction. I'm also very stubborn though, and I'm trying to get myself back into working on that book. And I've taken the approach of, I'm just going to write it, and to heck with the history. I'll double check the history when I'm done writing it. I'm going back to the one thing that I said earlier that I sometimes have to remind myself: just write the story,
Get it out,
just write it, get it out, and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm also, I unfortunately am a stickler about the historical aspects being right. But that'll come later.
Yeah, you can make changes or additions or subtractions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This question is for Walt. Got to ask, Walt, the dog on your couch, is it real?
I was wondering that too.
Not real. They're two pillows.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
Hey,
funny.
that looks like my sister's dog Hades.
Although his
Monster pillow.
Although my
his
real
doggy
dog
just
is,
walked past not too long ago.
She's down here. She's just laying down here on the floor in front of some game chairs that, if anybody wants them, they can have them. They've got little teeth marked from when she was a puppy and she chewed on the corner. But yeah, those are just two little pillows I found at Walmart a few years ago. I was like, you know what? Those will look good on my little couch back there. They're about $3 each.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good deal.
They had kittens.
Welcome, Jesse. He says Jesse's watching.
Hey,
Beth is fascinating. Good show.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it.
That's what we like to hear.
Or as I like sometimes to do, because Dad kind of thinks it's funny when I said, "Hello, Father."
Steve says, "Oh yes, Walt, I heard the magic Scotch Queen's name twice even."
She's Morgan. And you're familiar with Morgan, Steve. You've read my Farscape fanfiction.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun, dun,
Chucky.
dun.
You just said the magic words.
So
I know, I did.
Farscape fan fiction.
fan fiction, yeah. So Beth, your mood board. You're talking about you.
Yeah.
You base your, you look to famous actors or whatever. I base mine off of my friends and family. So
that's interesting.
I'm probably somewhere on one of your mood boards.
Everybody that I've known has become a character at some point. I've pictured them as a character at some point.
I love it.
Like right now, you've noticed
I've done that in the past.
Some of you have noticed this on Instagram. My IT guy, whom I will not give the name. So it's my little. When I'm bored at work, I'm got this little cartoon strip called The IT Guy. So later on, I'll give you guys my Instagram account. You can go check it out.
There you go.
You have to go check out his IT Guy. His IT Guy is great.
There's 2 little episodes. So
Beth, how much does it help to have beta readers?
It helps a lot. The first book that I did that I used a beta reader on was The Lock, and basically I offered a free copy of the book to 5 people who were willing to read it, and I got beta readers from both the United States and overseas. One of the girls was from Germany. I had a couple of friends from England, and one of the ladies who I had wanted to beta read this book for me, but she was busy, is a retired English teacher. and she's definitely a
good stuff.
follower. For the lock, it made a super big difference, because there were a couple of scenes in the book that I really needed some help with. I wasn't happy with them. My friend from Germany, Sarah, she actually helped me work out some plot points that I hadn't thought of. So they really were a big help. I know with Beyond the Steps of Stone, I kind of turned it around pretty fast, but I was okay with not using beta reader, so to speak, on this book because it already had a very solid foundation. My friend,
You've been sitting on it for a while.
yeah.
Plenty of time to work out all that stuff.
My friend Pam, who gave me the idea, who challenged me basically to write this book, she acted as an editor on the book when I first finished it. And so I basically took the foundation that we had and just, like I said, I made it darker. I changed some of the characters up. When I asked my niece Kat to read it, I told her, I said, look, I said, unless you see a glaring plot point, that's not what I need you to look for. I said, I basically need you to just go through and proof this, especially since I had changed a character from a female to a male. I needed to make sure all the she's and hers were changed to he's and his.
Mm-hmm.
But for the next book, I have a small stable of beta readers, and depending on the type of book, will depend on who I ask, hey, just read through this, free copy for you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I need to make any changes, and they are invaluable.
How do you know when a book is done? Like, you're an editor.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know when to stick a fork in it?
With my stuff, it's a lot easier for me to judge sticking the fork in it, so to speak, because of I'll usually do 2 rounds of edits and then incorporate what my beta readers have said, and then I will use Word. Word has a readback function.
Yeah.
And I'll have Word read it back to me.
Yeah.
And continue tweaking it from there. And when I get to the point where I know it's done for me is when I listen to it and I don't change a darn thing. Then I know that's it. It's ready to go. For others, for some of the other writers that I've mentored and that I've edited, it's their call when it's done. I will go through and I will give them all of my notes, all of my edits, all of my proof, because I do every.
Oh,
did we lose Beth?
Could be.
You guys are moving, but she's not.
Yeah.
I think we are.
Steve says, I was supposed to be a pilot nicknamed Slipstream in a comic Walt was brainstorming 100 years ago.
A goes.
Do you remember that, Walt?
Yeah, I do.
Are you telling Steve to suck it?
No, but what you said is pretty much right along the lines that I'm thinking.
I proofread it. I do developmental editing.
Oh, it's trying to catch up.
There you go.
What the heck? What
There
the
it
heck?
is.
What kind of weird
She's back.
data dump was that? We got like everything that you said there all at once.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, it just
Wow,
went.
that was weird.
It was weird.
It's like
Because
a
it
very
blacked
brief
out.
Cliff Notes
Blacked
version.
out for me, and I couldn't see any of you guys, but I could hear you.
Yeah, you were just frozen.
That's weird.
No sound.
That's
and then you
weird.
went all Chris Latta on us at the end there. Name
What?
drop, Chris Latta, name drop.
You got
Beth,
That was
to
weird.
wrap up your book and your segment here, just tell people why they should buy your book.
because it's awesome.
Need say no more.
Yeah.
It's a fast, fun read. That has all the good elements of a sci-fi story without it being technical sci-fi. It's sci-fi without all the gobbledygook. it'll appeal to a wide variety of readers.
Steve's stuck in a. Oh, Ronnie says hi. Hey Ronnie. If you'll stick around,
Ronnie.
we're about to talk about the Lord of the Rings thing, and I've got a question for you.
Yeah, stick around, Ronnie.
Stick around.
It's good to see you, Ronnie. Steve has a question for you before I wrap this up. Do you ever begin writing with the determination of a book having a sequel? And if so, what are your steps to doing so? If not, what's your technique to ending a novel, wrapping it up? Those are good questions, Steve.
Those are really good questions.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Tim Chesmore. How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Tim.
It's good to see you here. Welcome, Tim.
Beyond the Steps of Stone was originally laid out as a trilogy. When I did a lot of the brainstorming with my friend Pam, we basically laid out the story as a trilogy, and I have a paper box in the garage of all of the emails and notes and everything. Behind the Eyes of Dorian Gray was not supposed to have a sequel, and yet I am actually writing one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really, there is no determination. If I know I'm going to write a trilogy or a duology, I know before I start it. And as far as if it's a standalone, and the answer to your second question, if not, what's your technique to ending a novel? I do this regardless of whether or not it's supposed to be a planned trilogy or duology, Steve. I write every book as a standalone novel. That way, my readers are satisfied when they are done with the book. And when I do come out with a sequel, or whenever I get a chance to write the sequel, they'll be like, "Oh, yay! Hey, check it out! There's
I get another.
Another.
Get another.
I've already got. My brother was teasing me. He's like, "So when is the sequel coming out? Or are you going to pull a Diana Gabaldon on me and make me look like you did with Outlander?" And I'm like, "You are not funny, sir." But yes, most of the time, if I'm planning a trilogy, I know it from the head of time. But at the same time, I write every book as a standalone, just so that if somebody isn't interested in reading the next book, they've read the first one and they're satisfied, and they just can go on their merry way.
Yeah. Ashil says that's my kind of sci-fi.
Nice. You'll like
from your
it.
description. It's Beyond the Steps of Stones. Where's it available?
It is available on my website at bethanfreely.com. It is also available from Barnes & Noble and Amazon and Kobo and some of those other smaller ones. But
oh, really? You went large with it?
Yeah, I go large with all
cool.
of them. Yeah. So, but the two big ones, Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Or you can order them from me, and if you order them from me, you get it autographed. So.
Do you get a lot of sales on things other than Amazon?
Surprisingly enough, yeah. Kobo has been a big one for me.
Kobo?
Yeah, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I need to talk to you about that.
I use Drafted Digital for the ebooks to put out the ebooks, and
I've heard of that.
Really surprised at, I go in and I look at the sales numbers on Drafted Digital for the ebooks, and I'm really surprised that Kobo tends to be up there towards the top. Oh, iTunes, also on iTunes books.
That's crazy.
Apple, yeah. And there is an audio book in the works.
Cool.
My
get to read
narrator,
that one.
he's halfway through it already. It's the same gentleman that did Legend of Captain St. Pierre for me. He is doing On the Steps of Stone, and again, he's adding the little effects that really make the story well.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool.
He's doing it. He's doing. Each character has the different voice and everything. So I'm really impressed with the work he's doing for this.
That's awesome. I want to say to Tim's a guy who knows a lot of artists and writers.
Mm-hmm.
Send him our way. We need guests.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, Tim. All right. We are going to move on to the next section here then.
Music.
Music.
Do it.
Non-stop.
Oh.
This segment, I'm going to call Walt. Did you catch what I was talking about? Music nonstop.
Yes,
Did
I
that
did.
mean? Wow.
I did catch.
I mean,
that.
not that that's a surprise, but
I mean, you're taking us back.
way back. Way back. Mike, this is catching up with Mike time. How about that?
Yay.
Mike, it's been a little while since, a few months, and you've gone through a lot of stuff.
I did.
Catch us up with kind of where you are and what you're doing now.
Okay, well, I think the last time we talked, I was on a really bad connection in Albuquerque.
Yes.
Kept freaking out. That's hence why
Yeah.
I kept the multiple man nomen.
Right.
And I had finished up working in school out in Odessa, Texas last year, and the University of New Mexico decided to drop the big one that I missed a class, and they basically made me go back to Albuquerque and take one class to get my degree.
Oh.
So yes, I was
so rotten.
thrilled, so thrilled. So I go and take the class and pass, graduate, blah blah blah. And in the whole process, I was trying to get a job in New Mexico, who is so badly hurting for teachers that they recruited the National Guard in New Mexico to send in the National Guard to be teachers at the schools.
What?
Yeah, Dan and I heard about this from Dan.
Soldiers
They-
for
They
soldiers for school.
militarized your schools, yeah. And so, in the same time, I had come out to Texas to a job fair at Dallas, and right about the same time when I got into the process of interviewing in Albuquerque, I get a call from Dallas. We want to talk to you. We got some openings. I said, okay, fine. So all of a sudden, it became a race. Who's going to throw the first offer? And New Mexico just dragged their heels, and I got a call literally 2 weeks before the semester started in January to be in Dallas. So I threw the bulk of my stuff into storage, ended up leaving a ton of furniture behind, packed up my car with as much crap as I could get into it, and I'm here in Dallas. So I came out and interviewed I interviewed on my iPad via Zoom in a McDonald's parking lot. Technology.
Whatever
And,
works, man. Whatever works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I came out here and I'm at Carrollton. I'm at a school in Carrollton Farmers Branch right now, Ranch View High School. Yeah, go Lobos. Anyway, but yeah, I just Saturday finished taking my PPR test to get my Texas license. So I'll find out the results of the test right after the Geek Taskforce Geek tonight.
Really?
And
Well,
yes,
Well, good luck on that, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
so if everything goes well with that, and I just want a passing grade. I'm not trying to set the world on fire with this thing.
Right.
I get to go in and get my contract. So
Awesome.
Cool.
and then
Teachers
just
are in
kinda
high
go from
demand
there.
right now. High
Yeah.
demand.
Yeah, they are here too. They are here just as much as anywhere else. And people are. I talked to a friend of mine tonight. Her daughter-in-law is a teacher here in the Dallas area, and she's considering leaving the profession just because,
Really?
the shakeups that's going on. Yeah,
I mean, I can only imagine. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, like
it is.
a lot of stuff.
Let's just say, I can describe it in one word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that every day.
Yeah.
Tim says.
you hear a lot of it.
Tim says, "Good luck."
Thanks.
Shell
Thanks,
says,
Tim.
"Wow, good luck, Mike."
Thank you.
Jeree says,
Hey,
"Hello."
there's Jeree.
Hey.
How about that?
Hey.
How about that?
Have you been larking? Mm-hmm.
Larkin.
Yeah.
Lurking.
Oh,
Been larking.
And Tim laughed about my guest thing and said he will hook me up. I'm serious about that. Have him contact us at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. You or anyone else who's watching. Get us some guests on here. Mike, what are you working on? I mean, you've been busy. Do you have any comic book or art projects that you're working on?
Once I kind of finally get settled down, I'm going to get back on the roll and get Celtic Knight's back on track. So, when we last spoke, I'm 3 graphic novels sitting in the can. I just gotta either get up a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or something going. But right now is just get settled into the job, and then I'll be able to spend time to do all that. So
we'll help you promote that. Just tell us when.
Yeah, and plus, I spent a few years ago, I spent a lot of time just writing, and I wrote about 6 books for graphic novels, including bringing back some of the old Heroines Inc. characters.
Cool.
Yeah. And I started playing with that the other day with the Black Cobra character.
Cool.
Because a few years ago I had met Joelle Jones in Denver. So
really?
Killer, and we sat and talked a little bit, and
that's one of my favorite people right now.
I love her. She's
Wonder
amazing.
Girl. Her Wonder Girl run is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that little Supergirl prestige format she did. That was a great story. A little kind of a year 1 story.
Really great writer and artist. Stunning, amazing artist. So yeah. So, where did you meet her?
I had met her actually at Planet Comic-Con a few years ago.
Yeah.
And just as a first time, hi, how are you? Let me spend money with you and all that. And in Denver, I actually got to sit and talk to her. And I commissioned her to do a Black Cobra piece a la Lady Killer. And she did this amazing, amazing piece of the character from the 50s. Yeah. And, of course, it's Cold War era, so there's this great hammer and sickle flag behind him. She had several people offer her money for it while she was working on it.
Yeah.
But and amazingly, she was sitting there in Denver, and nobody was talking to her. It just blew my mind. So I got to spend quite a bit of time talking to her about it.
When we went to that show in Dallas, it was insane how there are like 5 people that everyone on the earth had to see.
Yeah.
Right.
And would literally stand in line all damn day to see them. And if you weren't one of those 5 people, they were just going to pass you by. Old guys who were amazing. Had very little activity. I mean, we're exactly like what you're talking about. They're sitting there and no one's talking to them. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's the perfect opportunity to sit and get to know them one-on-one.
Oh my God!
The guy who did a lot of the Batman comics.
Well, there was the one who I got the G.I. Joe print from, and because I was like,
Peter Tomasi.
Peter Tomasi.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody was there, and I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Do they not know who this guy? I mean, even I knew who Peter Tomasi was.
They just want, whoever is the current rock star, because it's not. I mean, it's not even like. It's like 3 years later, those people are not the rock stars.
Right.
It's someone else. People have moved on. It's strange to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How the laser focus that people have on this handful of people, and if you're not in that,
you're nothing to them.
I don't know how you survive at these conventions.
Yeah.
Jeree says she just got home, so she hasn't been lurking until now.
Yeah.
And Steve says Celtic Knights, my Scottish heritage says do it.
Okay. Right. Well, you can go on Amazon. We do have 4 books on Amazon that you can order. So
Mike has been very busy.
Yeah, Celtic Knights has been around for a while, Steve.
It's almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the Heroines Incorporated thing, because that and Chuck the Barbaric.
Oh my God, yeah.
were the first things that I got familiar with on your stuff, and I would love to see some more Heroines Incorporated, and I'd love to do a pinup or something for you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because you did a Black Cobra pinup for me.
I did. I'd like to see that. Do you still have that somewhere?
I think I do. I still think I have it.
This is from back in the olden days, kids. I mean, this is like where I put things on paper.
In the 80s.
Look at
same here.
Look at Steve, y'all. Look at Steve.
Wow, look at this.
Order my book while you're at it.
Steve is not joking. He says he's headed to Amazon now. He is a force of nature on this
stuff. He doesn't joke around when it comes to that stuff.
He doesn't. He is really
You need to buy Mike's stuff and mine all at once.
Yep.
There you go.
Just go on a run.
Get your swag there, Steve. Get
Steve
your swag.
has-
Steve, get your swag.
Steve has single-handedly put a lot of guests over the.
Over the
Speaking of
Kickstarter.
guests, I mean, come on for no other reason than to just get Steve as a fan. I mean, it will help you. It will help you get over the hump on your Kickstarter or whatever it is that you're doing. Seriously.
We should do a show called Steve.
Or Sean, for that fact. Sean
Steve
buys
and
everything
Sean
on Kickstarter.
Steve and Sean buy Kickstarters, and it's just
Seriously.
Kickstarters.
Seriously.
Just get Kickstarters buying
Be like
stuff.
Shark Tank. We put them in some chairs, and everyone comes up and tells them their story.
Present your Kickstarter to us. Tell me why I should invest in your Kickstarter.
Exactly. Geek Tank.
And Steve, if you have a hard time finding them, I'll message you and send you the titles.
Geek Tank.
Steve says, "Are you calling me a Kickstarter hoe?" Yes, I am.
If the shoe fits, Steve. If the shoe fits.
He's a Kickstarter aficionado.
There's our lurk right there. There's our lurker. Sean probably speaks up.
Sean's in on Geek Tank.
Sean, go buy my book, man.
Maxine says, "The fan man."
I still think we ought to do our Con Thugs comic. It should be a little anthology, and we follow each little comic thug.
We've talked about resurrecting an old project of ours from long ago, also.
Oh yeah.
Which is probably not. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do this from the. Yeah, you can do this digitally. That's really the only way to do this. We don't really have the. We don't have the resources to set up a bunch of lights and cameras and crap.
It could be a show where we just have those two and have the extra screen, and they're like going through. We've lined up some Kickstarters that we're going to take a look at today, and these are the Kickstarters. And just there you go. There's a show right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you're gonna make it happen. Come on.
Sean wants the audio book.
All right, fair enough, man.
That's how he consumes his books.
Dude, it's 500 pages long. I don't blame you.
Well, he listens to it at work, and he, that's a good way to pass the time.
I've got 5.
Hey, Gigi.
Gigi says, "Mr. Hooper, your treasure." I'm sorry, I talked over you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
What'd you say?
I've got 5 chapters to review on the flight tomorrow. So
there you go.
Michelle says that's a great idea, Walt.
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
All right, we're getting on to the next. We're getting on to the next thing. So you don't have anything to announce, but stuff is coming soon. Once you get settled.
Yes, hopefully that will be within the next month, and then I'll get myself squared away and get back to work.
All right.
I still have many stories left to tell. I know. I just got to get them out there.
You certainly
we're
do.
looking forward to them, man. So yeah.
Mike's one of the fastest artists that I know too, so he can tell a story. Yeah. He can get that work out there.
Some days, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was going to say, you were talking about people who get overlooked at conventions, and the coolest one was Martin Nodell. I met him at a Dallas Fantasy Fair. He's the guy who created the Golden Age Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
and he and his wife were there.
I think I know which convention you're talking about.
Yeah,
yeah. So, same thing with me. I met him too.
That was during wife number 1. If that tells you how far back that goes.
Oh yeah.
So that's back in the early '90s.
Yeah.
And what was so cool is we sat and talked to him and his wife, and they were just the sweetest people. And we ended up having dinner with them that night.
Who must not be mentioned.
Oh, you can mention her name. Just, hopefully you don't burst into flames when it happens.
That's the issue. That's the issue.
Yeah, where that fire rains down from, not heaven, but where. So, yeah, last I heard of her, she was raising those pygmy goats somewhere in Oklahoma. I know, totally not the thing you would expect.
Are you
her
serial?
to do. I am totally serial, man. She had
what the heck?
Like 10 or 12 of them, before she, kicked me off her Facebook page. So
I did not see that coming.
Me neither. Totally not. I figured she would be designing, like, making like designer clothes for pygmy goats, not raising pygmy goats. But that's
I'm not even asking.
Who knows?
I don't even
No.
want to go there.
Beth, that's a couple of drinks story.
Exactly. For sure.
And it's not from just
for
from
sure,
me, but from Hooper as well.
When that happens, I want to be there.
I do too.
Oh man,
I want to be there.
I want my 2 drinks.
Yep.
I want a 2 fist as well. Oh man,
there are some interesting stories.
And I will risk drinking. I will risk drinking 2 shiners because
Fair enough.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
what and you could actually get a shell into that because the shell was exposed as well.
All true. Yep,
it sounds
all
like
true.
a party for the crew here.
It could be.
WrestleMania's around the corner.
We could have a roast and not even have to have her there.
Right?
Steve wants the links to Celtic Knights, and he wants to make sure that he gets it all.
Okay,
so
I will send those to you in a little bit.
Seriously, get those to him. He's the guy to get the stuff to. All right, we're moving on to the next deal. Here it comes. We're already kind of running a little, overtime here. So let's keep it light and simple. But this weekend, a couple days ago, was the Super Bowl, and because everyone's got to get their commercials out and get your attention, get the 26 people that watch the Super Bowl. I don't know how many people watched the Super Bowl this year.
I watched just up until the Doctor Strange trailer, and then I was out.
What I mean, like collectively, how many people? Because it used to be like 120 million people, and I don't know what the ratings are on these things now.
I don't know, but it must have been a lot of people because nobody stopped talking about the halftime show. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
It says, based on Market Watch, it said over 112 million people watched.
All right. I mean, that's about on target with in the past.
It's about
It's
so
up 14% since last year.
Pretty impressive,
Wow.
given the fact that a lot of people just aren't watching regular television now. So that's very it compare and contrast to the Oscars, where they used to get about those numbers, and the last Oscars that they had was about 8 million people.
Yeah,
which is less than The Walking Dead.
And the access to and I've realized this over the past year, access to watching football, you can watch it just about anywhere now. Like it's on Amazon. You can watch a game on Twitter.
When I first got my this was a little time ago, but I mean not that long ago. When I first got a high definition television, football, even if I wasn't interested in it, was fascinating to me because of the quality of the broadcast. The high definition. I mean, it was the one thing you could watch that actually legitimately was in high definition and really blew me away with the level of quality on the broadcast. So maybe that's part of the draw if you've got a new 4K television.
Hey, and Super Bowl weekend is the weekend to sell TVs. There are more TVs sold on Super Bowl weekend than Black Friday of all days.
Yeah.
So
people, they have people come over. So it's interesting that people are still doing that. You never know on these things. Ashelle says that the show was on, the Super Bowl was on while she was up and around.
While she was there.
I caught maybe the last half of the game and I caught like the last half of the halftime show and the last half of the game. As a matter of fact, I walked in, Dr. Dre and Snoop were singing, and Dr. Dre was rapping, Snoop was kind of just grooving. And I looked at my husband, I said, "Who the hell is that with Snoop?" And he looked at me and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "That's Dr. Dre." And
He's a little older.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good, yeah. And then I turned around and went and got my sandwich and went and sat down because I was like, yeah, whatever.
Gigi says, could there be a Kickstarter gauntlet on here sometime? We'll call it the Hooper Bowl.
Hey,
I like that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take these one at a time. Again, let's not get into big dissertations. One of the first the trailers that I want to talk about for sure, I want to get it in, is Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. We've been hearing about this for a long time, but they dropped a few things in this. I guess the big question is, we heard a voice in the middle of that trailer, and it's definitely Patrick Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
But what character is he playing? What do you guys think?
I think it's the Illuminati.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
It's
too.
definitely Professor X.
Explain who the Illuminati is in the Marvel comics.
Basically, your smartest people in Marvel. So you have Iron Man,
Mr. Fantastic,
Mr. Fantastic, Submariner.
Obviously, Xavier.
Sometimes Black Panther.
Doctor Strange. Well, we'll just say that the Illuminati is the reason for the Hulk becoming the gladiator on that other planet because
he was cast out by the Illuminati.
Cast out by the Illuminati.
So you get World War Hulk. And,
World War Hulk was the Hulk coming back to extract his revenge on them. So.
Right. So you think that it is the Illuminati, and you think that is Professor X from some universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I heard that Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy both wanted to come back as X and Magneto, and this is the movie that probably could open the door to us getting both the older Charles Xavier and Magneto, as played by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, as well as their younger counterparts.
Right.
I heard Patrick Stewart's voice, and I had the cold chill go right up my back. The way they framed that scene and everything,
they worked it.
It was perfect, and I'm sitting there going, "You got to be kidding me! It's about time."
Mm-hmm.
That trailer gave me cold chills.
It did me too. It was very powerful.
Yeah, that's
if you're into this stuff. If you're following along.
Yeah,
I agree.
Spider-Man now, and get caught up.
So, do you to the panel? Do you think that this is the gateway to the X-Men, even if it's not the Fox X-Men? It's like
definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, this whole phase that they're going through, with the multiverse and everything, is definitely a way to get the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in, and everybody else. Because
it's the perfect vehicle for it to pull them in.
I mean, we've already gotten Daredevil and we've gotten Kingpin. So
yeah,
we've been talking about this being the gateway to the X-Men for at least a year now, and probably longer. And I mean, it's very. They're playing right along with that. Whether that's the case or not, they're certainly playing along.
They've been hinting, This is the most definitive proof that we've had so far. We could be seeing the X-Men, especially with Patrick Stewart being involved.
Do you think Scarlet Witch is going to be evil in this film?
Oh, hell yeah.
I think we get to see a version of her.
So do I. I think she's going to be a center point. I don't think she's going to be bad, but I think there's going to be some anger in there.
Yeah.
With that one little line that she said, I think there's going to be a little bit of anger.
We have not seen Wanda at her, even in the series, we have not yet seen Wanda at her fullest.
We have not. Mm-hmm. And it is very much Marvel Comics continuity.
Yeah.
For her to be sometimes the good guy and sometimes a problem.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
a big problem.
The big problem with this.
Yeah.
Especially in that one scene where she's looking at herself in the full Scarlet Witch costume, and she's in her, her usual civvies, and she reaches out and, strokes her own cheek and everything. I mean, they're hinting. They're definitely hinting.
Oh, yeah.
I love what Sean just said.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, what?
I'm right there with you, Sean.
Yeah, right there, Sean.
Sean says Deadpool in post-credit scene, calling it now. That's a good guess.
Yeah.
Because this also opens up the ability to pull Deadpool kicking and screaming.
Well,
back into the fold.
and then let's not forget the end credit scene from Deadpool 2.
Yeah, exactly.
When he said his next movie was going to be a lot of jumping around, time travel, and blah blah blah. Da, 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 da. So yeah, I can definitely see we're going to get a little Deadpool sometime really soon.
Yeah,
we need more Deadpool.
Ultron bots, anyone? Did you notice that Ultron was?
I noticed the Ultron.
I noticed
bots,
those.
Do you think that there is any chance? Here's another potential cameo. Do you think there's any chance that Tony Stark ends up on that Illuminati Council?
He should.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah.
He should be a version. Well, depending on what this is, it will be a version.
Of
Tom Cruise is Tony Stark.
Oh,
it could be.
Yeah, the superior Iron Man.
No. We all need to get RDJ kicking and screaming back.
Right.
Somebody posted an alternate Avengers, and it was Tom Cruise as
he was
Iron
originally
Man.
up for that role.
He was originally up for that role.
But
it had
1980s version of Avengers with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. And I don't remember who they had as Thor, but it was Eddie Murphy as Falcon.
It was Brad Pitt as
Was
Thor.
it Brad Pitt? But it was Eddie Murphy as Falcon. I was like, I'll pay to see Eddie Murphy dressed up.
Oh my God, yes.
I'll pay to see Eddie Murphy dressed up as Falcon. I will pay to see that for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it,
Sean likes my Tom Cruise, Tony Stark.
I mean, I would love to see that just for grins. Because when you think about it, if it had been done in the 80s or maybe the early 90s, those are who I would have picked to play all those roles.
Yeah,
Sure. Well, yeah.
I mean, not so much Tom Cruise because he's too short, but hey.
Yeah.
I
think those put platforms on the armor.
Yeah, RDJ was too short too. I don't know if you realize this, but RDJ is only like 5'8", 5'9", and they had to put lifts in his shoes for him. In order to,
he's fine as Tony Stark, though. He wouldn't have been good for Captain America or for Thor, obviously.
For Tony, but
he
is Tony.
I mean, it's hard. He can't be
anything else
replaced. Shell says if Tom Cruise is ever cast in a Marvel movie, she's out. She's out on that. Anyone? Go ahead, Beth.
Oh no, I was just going to Shell. Peace out.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
Steve wants to know if we're suddenly in the Bizarro Marvel universe.
Could be.
It could be.
Hey,
I mean,
you never know.
Look at the all the visuals that we saw in the trailer. We saw stuff straight from What If.
Yeah.
We saw.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Doctor Strange and.
How cool is it?
Showing like 2 or 3 versions of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
How cool is it that we are getting that version? We talked about that on Spoiler Alert.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't it be cool if they grabbed this character and pulled him over into the MCU? They're doing it.
There's about that.
But here's the thing: it might not be that character.
That is true.
Yeah.
But it could be
another version.
It could be another version of that character.
Could be.
So But was it Shur McGorath? We did see Shur McGorath.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and what was the other guy? Crap. I was just looking at it this morning.
I know. You got to see America Chavez.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who I'm actually excited to see that character because that's one of the newer characters in the Marvel comics. That
it took me a minute to realize who it was, and I was like, "Oh, that's good. I like that."
I noticed America Chavez in the teasers. So I was like, "Oh, I know that jacket." So.
Yeah.
Is anyone else excited about Sam Raimi directing a Marvel movie?
Yes.
I am.
This looks amazing.
Yeah.
It looks great.
It looks
weird.
That's right up his alley.
Visually, he's the guy. He's the guy. Now they had someone lined up before him, and I'm wondering, he left due to creative differences, which is the umbrella term for whatever. They didn't get along.
And I know that he wanted to go more heavily into the horror with
would have been
Doctor Strange.
I would have been super cool with that.
I mean, I would have been super cool with it too.
Yeah.
But then again, you know how Marvel is one of these things where they kind of want to
They don't want it to go too far.
They don't want. I got a feeling they don't want Doctor Strange to go too far into the horror because they've got something else lined up for that.
But I mean, look with what they did to the New Mutants movie.
Oh yeah.
That was supposed to be heavily into the horror, and it was just,
it was
almost
not
completely cut out.
It
was not.
Yeah. It was decent, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No,
they got rid of Edgar Wright, who is
Edgar
right now in my top 5 directors, and they got rid of him because, again, of creative differences, with the Ant-Man movie, and I think that you can see some elements of him, but I wonder if he just wanted to, go too far and make it not look like a Marvel movie. I think anytime you say, can we kind of break with the look or whatever, or the tone, I think that they get a little, get a little antsy on that. They don't want it to stand alone, as something. They want it to look like part of the catalog, I think. And some directors, I think, take some umbrage with that.
I get that.
Oh yeah,
I get it from both directions. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it from both directions too. Yeah, same. Yeah, because let's compare the DC extended universe compared to Marvel. DC has decided to go more dark in tone and more with the gritty. Everything's got to be gritty, which that's fine. If that's what you want. But to me, I have a hard time differentiating the characters when it's all dark and gritty.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why for me Shazam was a good.
Shazam was great.
Oh,
yeah.
Sean says the character is said to be Gargantos. Marvel doesn't own the name Shumagarath.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Very interesting.
How about that? Okay, well, talking about DC movies, we also got a trailer which was a mashup of 4 of the DC movies coming out. So the movies were The Batman, which is coming quick, Black Adam with The Rock,
looking forward to that one,
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
That's the one I'm holding out for.
And The Flash. What are your thoughts about kind of what we saw in that? Super brief. It's 4 movies that they talked about, and I think the trailer was only about a minute long.
Well, I didn't see it, but I have seen the full trailer for the Batman, and I'm looking forward to that. I've seen bits and pieces.
It's David Finch does.
Yeah.
It's a director doing David Finch doing Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's not a bad idea though.
How long have we been waiting to see The Rock as Black Adam?
Oh, forever.
Well, he's been talking about it for a decade.
How long have we been waiting to see The Rock as the Black Adam? And so it's like, you don't even need to show me the trailer. I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
Because it's related. It's a movie related to Shazam, and
it's The Rock.
And I'm a fan of the Big Red Cheese, and then it's The Rock. So.
Oh yeah. What? Well, and look how they've built up the supporting group now. Pierce Brosnan is Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the guy that's playing Hawkman, but he looks great too.
I didn't know that Pierce Brosnan was Dr. Fate.
Fate.
What is he going to appear? What I was going to ask, where does Dr. Fate in Hawkman? What movie are they appearing in?
Is
that Black Adam?
Yeah, because they're going to do the Justice Society in Black Adam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I did see that trailer.
I never would have imagined that Dr. Fate would be in a movie. I am so excited to see that character.
I know, it's so cool.
Because and I'm recommending you watch the Young Justice, because they've set us up for this movie because what's his name? Savage. The guy.
Oh, Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage is the father of the original Dr. Fate.
Oh, that's right.
He's here. They put all this. So I'm spoiling it. This is a little spoiler alert going on right here. So the person who originally donned the mask Dr. Fate was one of Vandal Savage's sons.
Oh,
And then of course,
interesting.
Thanagar is all involved with that. So you have Black Adam and Hawkman and Dr. Fate. They're all related from centuries. So they're kind of writing a really good story here, and as well as Shazam. You know, all those characters from way back when are all related. So
that's cool. Yeah, very cool.
The only one out of all of those that I am not super excited for, believe it or not, is the Batman. I keep seeing trailers for it. They look.
You say good. You are excited?
Not really.
He's not.
You're not excited.
I am not a big Robert Pattinson fan, but I'm willing to give this movie.
Oh, I'm glad Casey Jane isn't on here.
I know, right? I'm willing to give this movie a shot because I've seen him in other things that I thought he was very good in. I'm just not sure how I feel about him playing Batman.
I personally think he's going to be great as Bruce Wayne. I'm not convinced on Batman yet.
Yeah. I agree. I think the Bruce Wayne is going to pull it off. My other issue is, are they rolling this Batman in with the current setups that we have seen for the Justice League? Which, if that is, if
I don't think that was the intention.
I hope not, because
it's not.
At this point, at the formation of the Justice League, we should have the Elder Statesman Batman and Robert Pattinson.
They're ready to get rid of Batfleck, though, and whether we want that or not.
Yeah.
So they want the Robert Pattinson Batman in there, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if, particularly with like Flashpoint coming up, or what, it's not called Flashpoint, but you know, they could easily pull Affleck out of there and insert Robert Pattinson in that universe.
And we were talking in the Flash, in the Flash segment of that trailer, considering they're talking to him about you can go anywhere and any time in any universe. They are setting that up.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel
they've already said that the Batman is a different universe, so.
Yeah.
Right.
The Batman should be in the same universe as the Joker, isn't it?
Certainly. Well, they've talked about that too, but that's not. They're supposed to be standalone pictures. But, what do you think about Michael Keaton? I mean, he was a prominent voice in that commercial.
He's been cited. He's been cited on the set of Batgirl.
Yeah,
and the Flash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how crazy is it that he's going to end up in 2 films? What do they do? Are we going to get Batman Beyond with him?
We could. It's conceivable.
Please don't tease me like that.
I mean, if you have an old Batman, you can sure have Batman Beyond.
I've been screaming that for years. I've been screaming that ever since Batman Beyond came on TV. I've been like, if they ever do a live action, they need to bring back. They need to bring him back so that he can play an old. It fits so
well with their, them wanting to cast new faces and all that sort of stuff. Batman Beyond fits really well in that.
You still need an older statesman Bruce Wayne at this point.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton is I think out of all the Batmans out there, Michael Keaton is the perfect older statesman Batman.
And
Bruce Wayne.
And the funny thing about all this is the funny thing about all of this is both companies are doing multiverses now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care what anybody says. Both of them, both WB and Disney, are planning an amalgam. There's no doubt about it.
You still think they're going to put them all
together?
They're
going to do it. They have to do it.
Sure.
They have to do it.
I mean, there's some evidence that sort of thing could make some money.
I mean, they both own the character that ties the two together. So
Look, let's face it. We all want to see Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne get into that conversation about who has the better stuff.
Right.
It could be animated. It doesn't have to be live action. It could be animated. It would make a great little little like animated miniseries if they did, Marvel versus DC.
It'd be pretty cool.
And then do the whole mashup where we get what was the Wolverine Batman mashup? Because all the mashups were not
Dark Wolverine.
all the mashups were not expected.
Yeah.
Except for Spider Boy.
Right.
Yeah, that one was pretty obvious.
That one
was
was
fun
obvious. That was a fun one, but it was super obvious.
Yeah.
Steve says 2022 is already a hell of a year for motion picture house. So pumped.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that Top Gun sequel though. I don't think we'll ever see it.
You're gonna keep pushing it back.
Yeah.
Spider-Man proves that if you've got the movie, you can get the money.
You can get the money.
Yeah.
So just give us the Top Gun sequel.
So do you have the movie or not?
What?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So do you have the movie or not? Is it real?
To Tom Cruise? Do you have the movie or not?
Mr. Cruz, are you going to give us Maverick back or not?
Just
give us
the movie. Just give me the damn movie.
If you believe in the movie, put it out.
No, he's going to come back because he's going to be old enough to play the Tom Skerritt character by then.
He already is old enough to play that character.
He's plenty old enough to play.
In fact, he is playing that character.
He could play the grandfather of that character.
Yeah.
Shell says, I don't understand how you all watch and read so much stuff and have jobs too.
I haven't.
We have learned how to
time
balance
management.
and time manage.
Pure time management.
Again, this is the latest I have been awake in a week.
Steve says, right. Well, last week we blew the lid off of it too. Yeah. Steve says Top Gun 2 will show, and he'll be first in line.
He'll probably blow up the line so he can be first in line.
He has the need for speed.
The need for speed.
Another one of the trailers that we have out there is the Moon Knight season 1 trailer with Oscar Isaac.
More chills.
What are your thoughts on that? And it's coming quick, about a month away, I think.
Well, let's just say that Disney is letting them go a little bit crazy with the violence.
Yeah.
From what I've been reading, that there's supposedly a fight scene that will rival the hallway scene from Daredevil.
Oh, that's going to be a lot.
I find that hard to believe.
Great scene.
But we'll see.
Disney.
I hope they prove me wrong or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they do it.
Falcon and Winter Soldier with U.S. Agent.
Yes.
And the Shield.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
That for Disney was
pretty radical.
Yeah, it was pretty
a radical scene.
Yeah.
So I think they might have been doing a little water testing with that particular series.
Well,
yeah,
it's Marvel.
Yeah,
we're superheroes and people are getting killed and dying and everything.
Yeah,
and this is Moon Knight, and Moon Knight is not
a gentle character.
He's not a gentle character, and he's not your brightly colored out there in the public character either. Yeah. So just like Daredevil, you can't water them down.
Yeah, and this is our first character with multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we get Mr. Knight.
And I certainly hope that they play that out for all it's worth, like the comics.
I do too. I hope it's weird.
It'll mess it up if they don't.
Has all of the stuff with the god that he's hooked up with, Khonshu, and really gets into the psychological aspect. Look, the benefit of doing these series is that you can kind of play around a little bit. Mm-hmm. You can experiment. You can try some new things. And no one really knows Moon Knight. That's another kind of Guardians of the Galaxy level character.
Yeah,
that you can experiment a little bit, and from what I see right now, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
Mr. Knight. We get Mr. Knight.
What I like is that Feige, Filoni, and Favreau are not shying away from some of the more radical aspects of these comic book characters.
Right.
And they're opening up doors that we may not have seen before if they hadn't, if they didn't have such a strong belief in the characters they're playing with.
Yeah.
One of the things that Kevin Feige does, which has served him well for well over a decade now, is that he makes sure that the people who are working on these projects are fans of the work.
Yes.
They're fans of the original stuff. He's not hiring people that want to fix it. Like, hey, you know,
or deconstruct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, when you have a guy like Josh Trank who looks at the Fantastic Four and says they're too old, they're fuddy-duddies, they're not diverse enough, it's goofy, and all of that sort of stuff, he fixes it and it becomes a disaster.
It was horrible.
It neither appeals to fans of Fantastic Four or to a younger, fresher crowd, which is what it was aimed at. It failed on both accounts.
And even him making them younger, it was nothing like the Ultimates version.
No.
So-
He just didn't get the characters. You have to look.
No.
It's okay if you make some changes. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has made a lot of changes, but all of their changes are well thought out and they are very much in line with the characters. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's all respectful. It's not like, oh, this is a terrible, you know, property here. I've got to, you know,
I've
make
gotta
it
get rid of it.
palatable.
Yeah.
We gotta fix this. No, it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be fixed.
And-
You
and-
just do it the way it is.
And that's always been the problem with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Right.
And specifically Doctor Doom.
Dr. Doom
Yeah.
and Mr. Fantastic and Susie Storm. You know, the original Fantastic Four movie had some qualities that were savable.
Right.
The overall movie didn't, but the casting.
They were trying to do the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It's just it was too.
The casting of Johnny Storm and the casting of
It was not for adults.
No.
you know, with Chris Evans and I can't remember the actor who played Michael Chiklis.
Yeah,
Oh.
Michael Chiklis
Chiklis
was
was
excellent.
great.
He was excellent.
Those two were, you know, when it comes to casting Fantastic Four, those two were right on the mark.
On the
I mean,
mark.
great
On the mark.
relationship.
Chris Evans, you know, at that point in Chris Evans' career, he was still, you know, the smarmy playboy.
He was
And
very good.
He was great.
And
Michael-
Chiklis was great as the Thing too.
Yeah, he was excellent. But
He had
you know,
he had the talk down and the
Yeah.
attitude and
But
they
the rest
played
of the
those
cast-
two characters off of each other.
And
Really
you know
well.
what? The
rest
practical
of the
effects.
incredible.
The practical effects on the Thing were viewable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
If they had cast somebody different for Reed Richards and Susie Storm and Doctor Doom, and don't get me wrong, I like Julian McMahon as an actor, just not in that role. He was not Doctor Doom material.
They haven't gotten even close to Doctor
No,
Doom
they haven't gotten
in
close at
any iteration.
I mean, I remember watching Fantastic Four cartoons.
Not even close.
Yeah.
They were talking for a while. The guy who did Legion, he was going to pick up. This is back during the Fox days when Fox was still creating crap. That guy was talking about doing a Doctor Doom series. I would have liked to have seen what he did there because it could have been.
Yeah.
He
good. Yeah.
He takes this stuff real serious, and it would have been interesting to see, especially if Doctor Doom is the main character. It would have been interesting to see what he did with that character. It's too bad we didn't get that, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I doubt if this is way past Ronnie's bedtime, but I would like to talk finally about the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 1. What are your impressions of that trailer?
See, I haven't seen that trailer either.
All right.
I finally got to see it the other day.
What do you think?
Oh, I like it. It's going to be interesting. A lot of it's just going to depend on how they handle the characters based on the timelines that they're suggesting. So I haven't read any other information about it. Pretty much the trailer was it for me. But I think it can be handled well. I think. I don't know. Is Peter Jackson's not involved with it?
He's not, but I was going to note that the scenes and the look of this is absolutely using the Bible of his, the look that he put forth, that Peter Jackson put forth in the films. I mean, it looks exactly. The footage
Yeah,
looks
see,
like it's just extra scenes from those movies. So they've
See, that's why I brought
definitely
it up,
adopted
because of that.
the look, unquestionably, which
I'm
I think is
wondering
cool.
if, Peter Jackson had a Philippa Boyens. Do we know if Philippa Boyens is involved in this?
I have no idea.
I'm asking because she was basically Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens and a couple of others were basically Jackson's like right hands during the filming of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
And if they're involved,
Maybe
that
someone.
could be why we're getting that.
Okay.
That same.
It's possible
world.
that they grab some people. I haven't looked much at this except for the deal. I really wanted to get, like I said, Ronnie's thoughts on that trailer because I don't know any of the characters and I don't know the
You do know
time
the
that it's set in.
though. You've seen Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do know some of the characters that they show. You're just seeing them as considerably younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this particular series focuses around the rise of the elves. So we have Galadriel, we have Elrond.
All right.
We're just getting young.
They're just
Galadriel.
much younger.
Yeah, this is Galadriel before she became queen. This is Galadriel when she was still a warrior. She was still going out and fighting the battles.
Okay, so Beth.
Yeah.
What are these based on the Silmarillion?
It looks like it. The stories that they're talking about and that they're trying to do with this looks like it's based on the Silmarillion. It's been years since I've read it, so
It's deep knowledge on that stuff.
Yeah.
Almost everyone's read The Hobbit, but almost no one has read the Silmarillion.
Yeah, I have the Silmarillion, but I've never read it.
I actually read it. It's a slog fest, but
that's what I've heard from everyone.
If you're a Lord of the Rings fan,
like you have to be a super fan to get into it.
Yeah.
I believe some of the stories that they're going to try and do with this season are based out of the Silmarillion. I think they're also based out of the Unfinished Tales, which Christopher Tolkien picked up after his father passed away.
Oh yes.
And did some of the Unfinished Tales.
That's cool.
I am holding my opinion on it until I see what they do with it. Because there are
who knows? I mean, at this point, who knows?
There's some major characters that need to be involved in this, including Thranduil, Legolas's father, and the story behind Thranduil, how he became burned. I mean, how the fight with the dragons and everything. That is something I hope that they cover in this.
Yeah.
I saw some comments because we have a sighting of a female dwarf. I saw some comments, the female dwarf ought to have facial hair. Not necessarily. People who make comments like that are not truly familiar with Tolkien, because even Tolkien says in the books that some female dwarves did have facial hair and some didn't. Usually the ones that didn't have facial hair never left Erebor or any of the other dwarven strongholds because they were so valuable. Female dwarves were valuable in the first place. So if they stick to the stories, and the look of the trailers and everything, is sticking with what Peter Jackson did and what was already established, I think
what everyone agreed with.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a pretty decent series, of some things, of some tales that people aren't familiar with, out of Tolkien's extensive work.
It's crazy that we're at the point where we are getting like additional stories set in this thing. That's pretty cool.
Out there. They've been out there for consumption. It's just, I think a lot of people have never realized that there is more beyond The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, even the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely a universe where you could tell stories, from now on.
Yeah.
But it also runs the risk of, rubbing certain people the wrong way if you don't nail it. So it's one of those things that it could be very popular and everyone knows Lord of the Rings, but it also could, quickly get canceled
That's
if there's
why
certain
I
things
said-
that just drive people nuts.
It could turn into a Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop is the
Or
perfect
Game of
example.
Thrones, or the last 3 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
That's why
Cowboy
I said
Bebop, that is gone.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
holding
sad.
my opinion on it until I actually sit down and watch a couple of the episodes and see what they do with it.
Hey, go watch the original animation of Cowboy Bebop. It's perfectly fine and still
Dan's
available.
actually watching that right now.
Yeah. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you can watch the live action series if you
Hey,
want.
good stop.
I said, but I still recommend the original animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant all on its own. It doesn't
Yep.
need improving.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to On Blast. Jeree has a comment here. She says, I'm glad they're telling Tolkien's original stories instead of making up some stuff like they did in the Hobbit movies.
Time out.
Uh-oh.
Dree, love. Dree, my love. The only thing Peter Jackson made up in the Hobbit movies was Evangeline Lily. Yeah,
Evangeline
can't remember
Lilly?
the characters.
Yeah.
Evangeline Lilly's character. The story of the story with Bjorn is actually part of the Tales of Tom Bombadil, which is actually in The Hobbit. The other little side stories that were told, including the ones about with Legolas, those were actually in parts of the Lost Tales. Her character was made up to a point. Her name was made up, but they do mention within the Lost Tales a female elf that Legolas is close friends with, that he may have interest in. Now, what they did make up is the love story between Keely and her. That was made up. But all of the other little additional pieces that were put into the story, those are actually bits and pieces of Tolkien's work. I didn't know if you knew that. So really the only thing that was made up was
She said
her
that's
name.
what she was referring to.
Yeah, her name and the little love connection between the elf and Keely.
Beth, since you're talking, let's do the On Blast with you first.
Really, the only thing that I've consumed this week was Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I think we also talked about last week. Yeah, I rewatched Ghostbusters the other day.
Did you?
Fun.
The original Ghostbusters,
the original.
or the original. The
been
director for that passed this week.
Yep, Ivan Reitman passed 75. Yeah. I'm glad he was able to see the culmination of those movies. I'm glad he was able to see Afterlife.
And that his son directed the.
Yeah.
I mean, he also saw the success of his son.
His son wrote and directed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What else have I?
That must have. I mean, imagine if he passed before that. That would have been a real shame. But he got to see.
You got to see it.
That the story carries on, and that his son is the guy who's doing it. It's pretty cool.
The only other things I've really been doing this week I have been prepping for the book event and working on trailers for other authors. Go figure.
Right.
That's pretty much all I have. Keeping up with Peacemaker and Reacher. I caught up on one episode of Book of Boba Fett.
I was so far behind on Book of Boba Fett.
I'm one episode behind now. I just have to watch the last one.
I thought I was 2 episodes behind. I was on episode 2 of Book of Boba Fett.
I thought I was behind.
That's how far behind I was.
Yeah.
And then I start watching 2 episodes behind, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. And so I look at the first 5 minutes of the one before that, and it's like, I still don't know what's going on here. And then I went, and it's like, I had only watched 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
Who am I talking to up there?
I know, right?
Who are you two?
I've come to the conclusion that Jawas will collect anything.
I'm caught up now.
Yeah.
That the Jawas will what?
Jawas will collect anything.
For sure.
And sell it.
And
Yep.
sell it. Yeah, I want to know who they sell the crate dragon skull to. That's what I want to know.
If they sell it.
If they sell it. Yeah.
If they sell it, yeah, it looked pretty good on that sandcrawler.
Sean?
I had to pause that scene because I was.
I did too. I paused that scene too. I was like, oh yeah, memories from the corners of my mind.
Sean had a really great question. Wait a minute, Beth, you haven't seen all of the episodes?
I'm missing one episode. I have not watched the last episode, which is probably what I'm going to do while I'm folding my clothes and packing it tonight.
Walt, you've seen them all?
I've seen them all.
Mike, have you seen
Yeah.
them?
Oh yeah.
There's one. This really won't spoil much because it's all speculative. There's a scene with Grogu in the past that we get to see.
That's in the episode I watched.
Okay, that's right. Which we won't talk about that fully because it's still we don't want to spoil it. But Sean asked this question, and I don't have an answer. Who saved Grogu in that scene?
I don't have an answer.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I don't either. I want to.
Yeah,
I want to know.
I don't either.
Yeah.
We know he's saved. We know he saw the destruction at the temple.
Right.
Yeah.
Which puts a lot of things in perspective with Grogu now.
Yeah.
Did he get away from the stormtroopers? Did he not get away?
There's
from
a
the
lot of
considering
unresolved questions given that
considering that's
information.
the 501st that walked in there. Somebody either had to have saved him or
actually it was only half of the 501st.
Well, yeah, it was half of the 501st, but still, I mean, we know the history behind the 501st. We know that
Filoni wrote that episode.
Yeah. Filoni's killing us here right now.
Oh, he is. He's bringing all those Clone Wars characters right up to real life. It's pretty fun.
What got me in that episode was when Ahsoka looked at Luke and said to him, "You are so much like your father."
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good. Oh
yeah.
That episode.
Like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy.
They're killing me. The 3 Fs are killing me right now.
Mike,
I can't wait for the Ahsoka series though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it's gonna be
good.
it's gonna be
It's
awesome.
gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Mike on Blast. What have you been watching? Have you
Oh,
even had
God,
time to watch or read something?
I have been a binge monkey this past couple of weeks.
Oh, good.
I did Reacher, of course, finished up Boba Fett. I watched all of 1883, which is the Yellowstone
Oh, nice.
origin. I was on the rails through the first couple of episodes because they were just. I mean, I like violence. Don't get me wrong. I like a violent movie. And these things, but these guys went a little overboard. But as this first season matured, I guess is a good way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
They let the characters start to come out. I loved the cameos. I loved in the second episode with Tom Hanks interacting with, and then of course when his wife shows up later and hangs out with Faith Hill and gets drunk as a skunk out on the Oklahoma-Texas border.
Mike, do you have to watch Yellowstone first before you watch?
No, you absolutely not.
Okay, good.
No, because this is long ago.
This is long.
This is the Dutton family starting out in the West.
Okay.
So we're way before everybody else.
It's a modern version of Wagon Train.
It really is, but this wagon train is not a happy wagon train. So I mean, it's
raw.
It's a very brutal show.
Yeah,
and I've never seen Sam Elliott.
It is not a romanticized
badass.
West.
No.
I think the last time I saw Sam Elliott be a badass was Roadhouse. So
he has completely got Roadhouse beat on this.
Oh, sweet.
So, and I really did enjoy Reacher. I thought that was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Boba Fett, I enjoyed that. I got started on the new episodes of Discovery. So the recent one was actually pretty good.
The second half.
The latest season.
The second half of the current season.
Yeah, I'm a couple of episodes behind on that right now.
Yeah, this last one was really pretty well done. I like how they keep referring back and forth to Voyager. I really want to see an episode with Voyager.
Oh God, yes.
You know, albeit yes, we get Star Trek Prodigy, which has been a really good series.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get some Voyager stuff in the new Picard season.
I think we probably are going to.
Like,
you know, they
like
hint,
maybe
they
even
hint,
the captain.
They hint. Now, if you've not watched Prodigy, you need to go back and watch it.
Okay.
It starts out like a Nickelodeon show, but it ends up turning into a Star Trek show.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
For the season finale, the Janeway hologram says one phrase to set it up for the second season.
Oh, very good.
And it just put me right on the edge of the seat. I'm going, okay, now I'm really wanting.
Yeah.
So it's just really, the CGI animation is really well done. The Protostar is an amazing ship. It's kind of like Discovery. It's a one of a kind, and and we get to find out how it ended up in the far reaches of the universe. It's just a really cleverly written show. I had my doubts about it at first as well.
Cool. Shout out for Prodigy. That's cool.
Yeah, it grew up really fast to catch the fan base. So I think that's all that I. Oh, and I just started watching The Legend of Vox Machina on
Hulu?
on Amazon.
On Amazon.
Amazon?
It's kind of like the updated version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
The animated series. Oh yeah.
Oh wait a minute.
Actually,
that sounds great.
It's kind of funny.
It's
got
a comedy,
good group of characters. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into that one.
Well, now I'm interested. Now I'm super interested.
I just watched episode 5 this morning when I got to work, and it's pretty good. So they're on their second storyline, which includes vampires and zombie giants. So you're getting a good mix. You're getting a good mix of fantasy in this.
That sounds like
the characters.
Night at my friend Roland's house.
And it's violent.
Yeah. It is violent. It's
violent.
Yeah, that opening scene.
I was like, what?
On the first episode. Oh my god! If you wanted to get rid of disposable characters, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Walt, you're up.
Okay, so I wanted to show this last week. I mentioned it, but it was across the room. So I got.
Ooh.
I got Snake Eyes with Timber.
It's got a doggy.
Cool. So there's Timber.
Wolf.
So I wanted to show that last week.
Nice.
I like that.
Other than that, as far as like Mike, I've been binge watching Ultraman. And Tubi has tons of Ultraman, except there's one how could you say, one era of Ultraman that they have that they don't have, that they've skipped. So I've seen everything all the way up to Ultraman 80, and which is, I think, is like the first 6 Ultraman. So you have the original Ultraman, you have Ultra 7, the Return of Ultraman, Ultraman Ace, Ultraman Taro. Goes on and on and on. So I've watched all those, and by far Ultra 7 is, if you want to see a really violent Ultraman, Ultra 7, I recommend Ultra 7.
Yeah.
There's one where a monster's on top of him and he takes his little sword thing and sticks it in the face, and its blood starts spewing all over his face.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and this is a kid's show, folks. A kid's show from 1968.
Wow.
Anyway, so I've binge watched that.
Things are different in Japan, folks.
Yeah, I watched Reacher. Been watching Reacher, Peacemaker. Peacemaker has turned out to be a really great show.
Love that show.
I mean, the opening dance scene.
It's James Gunn doing television.
Yeah, it's been great. Cena's been knocking it out.
Apparently, my daughter and her fiance started watching Peacemaker because she looked at me Sunday when I was up there and she goes, "What on earth did I just watch?"
Yeah.
At the opening scene, I said, "You're never gonna." Dan and I usually forward through opening scenes.
Yeah.
We don't forward through that one.
Yeah, you don't forward through that.
No.
One. Yeah. So
Great dance sequence.
what else have I been watching or doing? I pulled. Oh, I've been working on, as I mentioned this earlier, my little doodles. I've been doodling again while I'm at work. So my latest thing is a little comic strip that I've called The IT Guy. I'm using it to vent.
That's good.
I've done that before.
So, and I've based the character off of an actual living person. Should he ever see it, I don't give up. So,
Nor should you.
Or should I? So really, I'm kind of hoping somebody accidentally sends it his way. I don't care. But other than that, that's about it. Decided, doing a little sketching here and there. Figurosity.com. I think I've mentioned this once before. Every once in a while I go in and I set it to do 1 minute sketches. So it'll automatically throw out poses in different angles. And I do different sketches, little rough sketches to get myself prepared for a project. Dirk knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
So that's it.
That's another thing Beth was talking about, getting struck with inspiration and stuff. Walt kind of poked me about an idea, and
Oh, it was something you were researching.
I went to
you were just reading about it, and I was like, that would be a good story.
Yep. And I mean, I sat down and like all this stuff started coming at me. It's like, that's kind of the way it happens.
You guys need some editing, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not enough to edit right now, but as soon as there is.
Figurosity, and like I said, I've been going to Figurosity. Figurosity has been helping me out quite a bit in figuring out how I want to set up scenes and everything. So I've been looking at
I have been doing timed sketches as well. It's been a long time.
It's been a very long time.
Since I have done that, but I have been doing that. Yeah,
it's been almost 30 years for me. So
and it helps. I used to be really good at it. Actually, it frustrates me that I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be.
Yeah,
but it makes a big difference.
It does.
As far as getting some expressive stuff out there, it's a good deal. All right. Well, my on blast is something from long ago. This is the reason why I'm behind on everything, is because I'm watching this stupid shit. I'm watching old episodes of Space 1999.
Yes.
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 And it's for free on IMDb TV, although I'm watching it through Amazon.
Yeah.
Because
and it's on Tubi.
Right. It's in a few places now, which is pretty amazing.
I have Blu-ray.
I don't. I remember back when I was a kid, they would have reruns of Space 1999 on Saturday mornings, and I would watch this stuff and didn't really, because I never watched it from the beginning. I never really totally got it, and so, but I owned the toy, like the little
the eagle.
The little
the eagle.
The eagle, I had a die-cast eagle.
Yep.
I wanted one,
and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I really enjoyed kind of the feel of it. But like I said, I never saw it from the beginning, and I certainly didn't. There's 2 full seasons of this thing back when they used to do 24 episodes of a season, so you got nearly 50 episodes out there. I had to, because I was watching this thing. I like to do research on this stuff. The first season of this thing was done kind of in a vacuum. They didn't really know exactly what the reception on this thing was.
Yep.
And then between season 1 and season 2, things changed quite considerably.
Yeah.
They get rid of some characters. They shuffle some stuff around. They put some new characters in there. And the second season had an American producer. So the first season has a British producer. The second season has an American showrunner who jazzed it up. It's got more guns, and it's got more karate chops, and it's got more monsters and
and
like
aliens and
more
We did
aliens
a
and
shifter.
Yeah.
they figured that people more kissing and more relationship stuff. They just jazzed it up on every level. And I wasn't sure what I was going to think because, like I said, I've been watching the first season, and I really like the first season. It's very esoteric. It's kind of weird. It's like kind of a cousin of 2001, where they're dealing with kind of weird space stuff, and the big questions of what's out there and what is the nature of humanity, and that's the sort of thing that they were dealing with in that first season. And then, as I was reading on the stuff, people were talking about how the second season is all, karate chops and monsters and stuff. But as it turns out, I actually kind of like the second season too. It's very different, but it's also has its charms as well. The characters, they start pairing characters off into couples and stuff, which makes sense. I mean, if you're stuck there on the
You're
moon,
stuck on a moon that's
for 2 years, you're going to start, you're going to start pairing up with who you love, the one you're with. You're going to start pairing up with people, so it makes sense. And I don't, like someone was talking about something the other day, a television series or a movie or something, and I asked the question I always ask, which is, are there ninjas in it? Are there aliens in it? I'm going to need something, please, for the love of God. If I'm going to spend some time watching this, there better be there better be something that I can get behind.
That's funny.
And, there's some robots in this thing, for God's sakes, please something. And so I can appreciate what they were trying to do with that second season to kind of jazz it up and keep it going. So all of that doesn't really bother me, and I'm halfway through that season, and I really enjoy that too. So to make a long story short, if you haven't seen Space 1999, I think it's worth a watch. I mean, I think it holds up pretty well. I really like the themes and the characters and what's going on in it. That first season definitely has some thinker episodes, and I haven't seen anything like that in the second season. But the second season's very entertaining. So
yes.
So funny that you
I think it's worth a watch.
Funny that you bring up that TV show, Dirk. In Beyond the Steps of Stone, the scene with the moon, like I mentioned earlier, was kind of inspired by Space 1999.
Oh, cool!
I sat down probably about 6 months ago and actually started rewatching it.
Really?
Yeah. There's
so
why
funny.
I was kind of chuckling about it because I remember as a kid that was one of my favorite TV shows too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Maya, she was always my favorite character.
Right.
From the second
Introduced in the second season.
Yeah,
Right.
I loved her character. And
She is cool.
So, yeah, such a good show.
Very interesting. Are you getting?
My phone rang.
Mike got attacked by ninjas.
I think so, but
You're talking about second seasons.
I did. Sorry.
If you the Filmation's Flash Gordon, you should watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute! I have watched some of those.
So the first season is all
on Tubi,
on it.
is it?
I think it's on Tubi and it's on Amazon too. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it.
I think I'm watching it through Tubi. Listen, those are good.
The first season.
And probably much closer to the Flash Gordon series.
If you watch, the first season is all about, stopping Ming the Merciless and everything. And in the second season, you're like, what were you thinking?
Did they just go nuts in the second season?
You know how you watched the New Adventures of Batman with Batmite?
Oh my God!
It goes along in that direction.
Oh
the second season.
Oh no!
Yeah.
The
little stupid jokes and little
the Batman thing would have been, you could digest it, except that the Batman
I'll just put it
so
I'll just put it
terrible.
I'll just put it to you this way: the Batmite, the New Adventures of Batman, I could sit through that literally sit through that and deal with Batmite than I could the second season of the Flash Gordon.
Oh yeah. Oh, if those are similar, that's not good.
Because you know why Batmite is there. You know why Batmite is there. You know Batmite, and his background. But
Right.
then you watch the second season of Flash Gordon, and you're like, what?
Why is this character?
Yeah.
No, wait. Are these the same characters from the first season?
What a shame.
Yeah.
I shared a picture from that first season of Flash Gordon and who is Ming's daughter? Ardala?
Ardala.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Anyway, where like he has no shirt on and she's just wearing like kind of this metal bra thing. And I said, this is what we used to have back when, cartoons were on. This is Saturday morning cartoon stuff. And it looks like the cover of one of Beth's novels.
Yep.
Right. Oh, I also forgot to mention what I consumed. I forgot, and I posted this on the Taskforce Geek Facebook page. Shazam from 1974 is on
I
Tubi.
saw that. I was like, oh my god, I need to find that.
I want to see that.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Those were the days, folks.
So,
And it brought back memories.
So just FYI, I just happened to catch something that my niece Catherine posted, and it was coming out of CBR.com. Apparently, Star Trek 4 is back in production.
Yay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wait a minute. Which Star Trek 4?
Chris
The
Pine.
Kelvin years.
No.
Yeah, the Kelvin universe.
The Tarantino Star Trek 4 or something different?
I don't
No,
know.
see, I thought they shuffled Tarantino over to TV for streaming. I'd read something about that a couple weeks ago.
She literally just posted this. I just happened to see
Very,
it for me.
very interesting.
Directed by Matt Shackman, who is known for his work on WandaVision.
Huh.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I certainly
Well,
enjoyed
Shankman's done several movies.
Maybe
too.
it's a new that's breaking news.
Yeah.
Breaking news right here on
Yay.
Taskforce Geek.
All right, let's do promo time, folks. Mike, where can we find you? I don't have any links for you, buddy. Where
I
can
don't
we
either.
find you? Now, you said that people can go to Amazon and look up Celtic Knights.
Yeah, they can look up Celtic Knights, and they'll be under the separate. I'll send you a link with all the titles.
You don't have a website to send people to?
No, I don't.
Mike, we need to talk,
Mike.
man. Mike, we
Yes,
need to
we
talk.
do.
Let's
Yes, we
create
do.
a website for you.
We need to
Somehow,
talk, Mike.
maybe Beth and I can work on that for you together.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, let's. You've needed a
with
web.
you being-
Good Lord, dude!
With you being
You've been
down-
doing
know.
this for
Come on.
decades.
Come on, it's the 21st century.
I know. Well, and that's probably the only thing of the 21st century I have not adapted to.
It's okay, Mike. I don't have a website either.
Yeah, I mean, you are 3D printing things now, and you don't have a website.
I know, but I can 3D print stuff.
Seriously, let's figure out how to get you a web. Beth, let's talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a hosting service. We can put it on, load up WordPress, and if Beth will help me out, we'll create a website for you. We can do that.
Running, Mike.
We do that quickly.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, between the two of us.
Let's
Good Lord,
let's solve that.
Yeah.
Solved.
Solved. Problem solved. Who do you call the problem solvers? Solved.
Hey,
Mike needs a website. Solved.
there you go.
I forgot where I learned the problem solver thing. I think it was a cartoon or something. I can't remember.
What about on Facebook? Do you know what your handle is on there?
Mike Kennedy.
No, I'll have to send all of that. I know. I'm horrible.
All right. I mean, just look up Mike Kennedy on Facebook.
Yeah.
He's connected to all of us.
Yeah, there's only like 500 of us on Facebook as of like a
Mike,
couple years ago.
this is amazing because if you go
look up one of us,
right,
because we're friends with Mike
There you
Kennedy.
go.
there you go.
Right.
That's the way to do it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Any of us.
That's right.
Or you can hunt him down on the Taskforce Geek Facebook group page.
Yep, that was
Right,
There you
because
go.
he's on there.
too.
Yeah.
He's on there often. If you go to a convention and you meet Mike has a 6-foot table that is packed with artwork and novels, graphic novels, and comics.
Stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
tons of stuff, decades of stuff.
Yeah.
We really got to
And,
get you have worked, since the 80s on stuff and put it out and still have the old stuff and have the new stuff. Yeah, we got to get you out in front
you
of
need
the
a
earth.
website, man.
Oh,
Yep.
you know,
You
and
need
were
a
saying-
headquarters.
Yeah, Hooper, when I was getting everything ready to head out here from New Mexico, I found a little project that you and I did that we never got it published.
Wait a minute. I have a question about a project that we did. What did you find? What project did you find?
I found the Star Trek: The Whipping Generation, and I found
Steve's
some of
into
the art
fan fiction.
the art that you and I had done.
Oh my God!
I have an idea of what this is.
Wait a minute. So you still have that thing?
I still have the originals.
Oh my! I would love to see that.
So
I was
would
just
we.
thinking about that.
I
was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I don't even really remember
Yeah.
all of it. I remember the data
Yeah,
had appendages.
Yes. Yeah, and you did the submissive Wesley Crusher, which that one still stands out.
Oh yeah, I have to see this. I
Yeah.
have
So
to see it.
and of course the Enterprise.
I'm gonna be like Steve here.
Had
I'm gonna
toys
be like
replacing
Steve.
the nacelles, and it was
I'm
fun.
gonna be like Steve. Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
You have to share this.
You gotta have to
Thought
scan
about
that.
that.
Send it to me in a
I
PDF.
thought about that the other day. It's like, I wonder if Mike has a copy of that. You're saying you have multiple copies of that?
No, I still have all the original art.
Oh god.
So we need.
How much of
I
that
think
did we do?
Well,
I don't even
it was a
remember.
lot. There was quite a
Really?
bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
A
you
lot?
got down on us.
So there was a pretty good amount. You did.
Oh, yeah.
You did the bulk of the work on.
I
the
worked
project.
my ass off on that thing.
You want to talk about a website?
Back during. I mean,
Yeah. And it's-
honestly,
and,
Mike,
you
that
know,
was
and it's still
probably one of
relatively
my
tame.
first. That was probably one of my first comics. Seriously, one of my first sequential art projects that I did. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Shank's in on it.
Mike and I also, we didn't do much of it, but Mike and I also did a brief comic adaptation of Highlander that
I have,
we were
I
going
have
to.
that too.
Do you
Steve.
really? I'd love to see that.
Steve.
It's in-
And Beth
It's
too.
in my,
'cause
it's
Beth-
in my
Oh, I
storage
see that
unit in New
one too.
Mexico right now.
I mean, we were going to,
We were
see if we
getting-
couldn't,
Well,
get
yeah,
some
'cause-
traction.
Well, and we
This
found
is
out
before
that
the series
Highlander
and
had-
all this.
And this is Highlander had just come up open to where you could buy the rights.
Right.
And, so
And we thought that-
so we started working on a pitch.
We thought maybe someone who got the rights might want to have a comic book done on it.
Yeah,
We weren't going to be able to buy
exactly.
the rights, but
No,
we
no,
might
no.
get someone who's interested in doing a comic book. This was long before you had comic adaptations of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I see that one too.
So we took a shot at that. Steve says on our, what was the name of the thing? The next generation thing we did?
Next
was
Generation
It was
is
Star,
what my-
Star, I think it was either Star Trek: The Whipping Generation or Star Trek S&M something.
instead of TFG? S&M?
So you know,
I'm gonna give a standing ovation for that one.
thank you. But I think,
Dude.
I did the cover art, and you did a lot of the interior work.
I'm sure he did.
But we had
have got-
brainstorming. We had several brainstorming sessions on how we were going to the treatment of the characters.
I really thought, because it's been a long time and I haven't seen it since. I really thought that all I did was like maybe a few character sketches or something, and
No, these were all finished pieces.
like actual pages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would like to see it. I haven't seen it in a long time. That is hilarious.
Oh,
My plan is to, during
Steve
spring
says
break, to
PDF
hopefully
that
get there.
immediately.
Well, I'll have to get back to New Mexico and pick it all up because it's in storage in New Mexico right now. So, but my plan was to go
Steve
during
says,
spring break and pick
holy
it all up.
crap.
Yeah.
Oh, the next one.
next one, yeah.
The next one.
Can't imagine why Little Golden Books didn't pick that up.
I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, this is great. This is great.
The stuff
I don't
you
even
learn
remember all
towards
the
the end of
stuff.
the show.
Didn't I do something with Deanna Troy? Didn't she have like a whip or something?
No.
Is that wrong?
No, was it Troy or was it Denise Crosby's character?
Oh, right. It may have been Yar. It may have been
Yeah,
Yar.
I think it was Yar. I think it was
Yeah,
Yar.
you're probably right.
This is taking a hard stage left.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, I think I did the Deanna Troy piece.
Okay, my brain went Deanna, a whip, and Riker. Okay, so okay, just
This would have been
is
like probably after the first season.
Yeah.
So some of the
So
stuff.
that's 1988, 87, 88.
Yes.
Yeah.
88.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steve says my dreams are going to be so messed up tonight.
here we go. Wow.
My eyes are killing me.
Oh,
You
man.
guys conduct the show.
Oh, man.
Hey, Mojo's not watching, is she, Steve?
Oh.
Who?
His wife.
Oh, is she into Star Trek or something?
The other
else?
stuff.
Stop right there, Dirk. Stop right there.
So what we're talking about is sequential art from me back in the 80s. That may be earlier than anything that I have.
Yeah, because it was part of Rough Cut and everything. So.
Wow. All right.
All righty then.
I'm so glad I had you on tonight, Mike.
The vapors are getting to Beth. The vapors.
So, we kicked the crypt door open and look what fell out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or did you kick the crypt door open?
Can't really produce those for very obvious reason. I mean,
Right.
we were doing them, and then the idea was to sell
just
them at
gonna be fan art and
conventions.
stuff. Oh yeah,
Yes,
It's like
yeah.
fan fiction,
share it
Steve.
You can share it with your friends. Okay?
It's fan fiction,
Right.
Steve.
And plus being in Oklahoma at the time,
And
there's
you
no
say
way-
there's a lot. You say it's not just a few sketches.
No, we did quite a. We got close to having everything done for it, I believe.
Oh, dear Lord. There's a
Wow.
whole story
I didn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
realize we had that much.
That's got to be PDF to me.
I did get into it. I remember while I was doing it.
That's got to be scanned.
I
and
remember when
PDF.
I was doing it that I got into a flow,
Yeah.
which is, the benefit of doing multiple pages is that by the time you get to the fifth page, you start,
Yeah, you
really
get your
producing
rhythm.
stuff. You got the rhythm, and everything that you do after that is so much better than what you did on the first page.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The first page is terrible. You can't even almost look at it. But, the fifth page is, things are kind of coming
Yeah.
along. Steve says, hell, someone had to put Star Trek and BDSM together. Why the heck not?
I know.
It was Mike and me that did that
So many naughty
Long
stories,
ago.
Steve. So little time.
Yeah.
long ago. All right, so promo time.
Oh, okay.
Promo time.
I
Let's
don't know.
go
I think I've promoted myself out of it now.
I don't even know how to follow up with, follow that up. I mean,
Yep,
come
you got to
on.
follow it up, Beth, because you're next. Here it comes.
You can find my author website at bethanfreely.com if you're looking for book editing, book trailers, website design. Find me at themusesfunhouse.com. I'm on social media on Twitter and Instagram at BA Freely. I also have a Patreon account, Beth Ann Freely, if you want to come and support this starving writer. And, if you missed all of that, go look for me, BA Freely, on Linktree, and you'll find all that fun stuff. And if you're a viewer from San Diego, come out and see me on the 19th at the Love and Devotion author event.
And go immediately to Amazon and buy
my book.
Buy her book, Beyond the Steps of Stone.
Beyond the Steps of Stone.
Or if that's not your jam, there's other books out there.
I got 3 other ones besides.
Go look up Beth Ann Freely.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, Walt, you're up.
Oh, you can find me at WalterCons on Facebook. You can go to my Wood Studio blog spot. You can catch me on Twitch at Gatchaman_1. That's also my handle on Instagram, where I've been doodling the IT guy. And I've got two little panels of the IT guy, and and it's basically an IT guy telling you how you're doing your job wrong.
Walt,
That's
am
your
I
job.
writing-
Your job that's not related to IT. Anyway,
that sounds wonderful.
Am I writing up to IT standards, Walt?
okay. No, you're not. You can also buy my stuff at Zazzle, at my Zazzle store at what_studio_art. If you do that after Zazzle.com. I've got some pretty cool masks that are Transformer inspired there. Plus, I don't think Beth is drinking out of it today, but I've got some really cool coffee mugs and some t-shirts.
It's dirty. It needs washed.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm pretty soon here. I'm going to start opening myself up for commissions again. I had a really bad time the last few months,
Dude.
So
many of my friends have been going through so much crazy stuff. Like I said, I mentioned in the last episode, Scott's gone through some stuff financially. He's fine. Scott is fine, but Scott's gone through some stuff financially. He got hammered by a bunch of, random stuff, and
I had the same thing happen to me as well, and it was all coming together right when I was starting a new job. Almost, came close to like losing some property. So, so there you go.
There you go. All right. So if you're into mashups of Star Trek and fetish, then you can check my stuff.
You got a really good pinup that somebody commissioned you to do.
I do, and I'm about to. I just loaded it. I just loaded it. Star Trek and fetish is something that I've done many times. So there's my Star Trek and fetish mashup. That's
Very cool.
actually pretty recent there.
I know you did a lot of research on that too.
Yeah,
I did tons of research on that. Good Lord. And so many different choices because I really wanted, those old 60s outfits are the sexiest by far. And I really wanted to do something like that, but I also wanted to do it like in latex. And, I didn't want to do the old Enterprise bridge. So this is the new version of the old Enterprise bridge, right?
With the Discovery uniforms.
The Discovery uniforms, but the client was a fan of Leonard Nimoy as Spock, so I put him in the new Discovery version of the outfit. So anyway, if you're into that sort of thing, that didn't just start in 1988. I'm still doing it. And you can find me at the links below. There it is.
And it's very good stuff.
The end.
It's very good stuff. If you're into that, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. If you haven't checked out Dirk's stuff, you do need to go and check it out if you like that stuff.
You really do need to check it out.
I do commissions. I need commissions because I blew out the drive. What the hell is it called?
Drive shaft.
The drive shaft. Thank you. Good Lord. I know nothing about cars. I blew out the drive shaft on it, split in half, and exploded my gear shift. I got a lot of car to pay for. So now would be a good time to commission some work for me. I could use the work. So anyway, follow me on those things. Steve says this might be the best fanfic ever.
Yeah, Nevin.
It might be. I don't really remember it. I was going to ask Mike about that because it just occurred to me a week or two ago. I wonder what happened to that thing because I seem to remember. I really thought, in my mind, I thought maybe I did a few little sketches, and I just wanted to see the old sketches that I did from 4 decades ago.
Man.
Yeah, we've known each other a few years.
We have, and been creating some artwork, and then I stopped creating artwork, and you kept creating artwork. So good for you. You should continue to create all the kids out there. Keep creating.
I am. I'm actually.
Don't take a break from it.
I'm working on a painting for my. I teach a painting class, and I'm working on. They're starting a new project, and I'm working on my example for them. I'll post it up when it's done. I've got the ink line work done, and I'm going to start laying down watercolors on it tomorrow.
Cool.
So it's going to be ink, watercolor, color pencil, chalk pastels.
Oh, we're
just
doing
a little bit of everything. Oh yeah,
media.
This is a mixed media. This is a mixed media painting for them.
Very cool.
And some of them are working up some pretty cool stuff. So I'm excited to see what they do too.
Does anyone have anything they need to add to this supersized episode?
No.
I'm going to say that's a no. Here comes
I'm good.
Steve has something to add. He says, y'all amazing show. Beth can't wait for my book. Have a blast in San Diego. Mike, send me links.
That means he just ordered it.
Send that guy links. You should, Mike, do not pass go. Do not collect 200. Send Steve links.
Send those out. Yep.
Really want to see some Celtic Knights. Great show, folks, and thank you. Thank you, Steve, for
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for being here,
for
Steve.
tuning in. Thanks to all the Tim Chesmore. Hadn't seen that guy in a while. It's
I know.
really cool to see him. All of the other people who chimed in tonight, we sure do appreciate it. Thanks to Sean for helping out with names and stuff like he usually does.
Yeah.
Where he lurks.
That's always a big help. Mike, thanks for Thanks for
having me
coming
on.
in here at the last minute, because I didn't contact you until afternoon today, and here you are.
Yep.
And I know that you're busy and have a lot of stuff coming on. I never expected to talk about what we talked about.
I wasn't on that plan of attack.
That's the joy of live streaming.
That's the joy of what happens live and bringing on friends that you've had for a while.
True.
You get to catch up with them and maybe reminisce about some stuff. Tim says thank you guys, and thank you, Tim. Seriously,
Tim.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's good
thanks
to
for
see
showing
you.
up.
Thanks, Sam.
It's good to see you. Anyway, thanks also to Walt. Good luck to Beth going out to San Diego. Hey, you're going to one of the coolest places on the earth.
Yes.
So just enjoy that trip. Seriously, don't run around so much that you don't appreciate how amazing the weather is there. Just take one evening where you can sit someplace with your friends and can relax and enjoy that San Diego weather, because it's like no other place that I've ever been to. It's just really gorgeous out there. That's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a like or share wherever you see this, please, particularly on YouTube. Makes a big difference.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, share. Find us some guest if you want to see us next week. We need a guest. I'll have a sign-up list tomorrow. I will post it. So look out for that on the Taskforce Geek Facebook group. Thanks to everyone for watching. Until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.